everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Brighter Shores livestream day 129. So today's main game plan, of course, well, a couple things. For one, we are finally returning to Mines and Matupin. We started a little bit yesterday, but now we can finally do Flatinium, which is the ore that we actually need. This makes all of our really good weapons going forward. Unfortunately, ever since the combat rework, we cannot use it at our level range at all. Before, it would have made our best weapons. Now we won't be able to use it for like another several hundred hours of combat or something. Something insane. But, yeah, so it's not as useful as it's going to be before, but, you know, we still need the levels. We still need everything else with it. Beyond that, we do have a poll going on right now because I didn't realize it's in like a week from now. We're going to be doing Xenoblade Chronicles X for about a week from now. So basically next Friday or Thursday. It says it comes out on Thursday, but I'm not sure if it means Thursday night or Thursday midday. If there's not a big patch for Brighter Shores, maybe we'll start on that Thursday then, assuming it's coming out on like, you know, Wednesday night into Thursday. But otherwise we'll do it on Friday. But anyways, regardless, we'll do that for about a week once it does end up coming out. So the current poll is, what should our AFK grind be during that? We will still be doing a short Brighter Shores stream every single day during that. However, yeah, it's mostly just on what we should grind up until then in order to go AFK. I've actually been doing the raid stuff a little bit recently. Not the raid dens, but more so the actual, like, methods to train it. Like, you know, the other things that aren't just raid dens. I couldn't have guessed it, but there is content in Detective that isn't just raid den. I didn't know this, but there is other aspects of it that isn't just raid den into raid den into raid den into raid den. So we've actually been doing spotting thieves, and surprisingly not horrifically bad. Like, extremely surprisingly not horrifically bad. Also, I've been putting this in the forger lately. I'm so desperate to get the little bit of forgery XP that every time I'm like 10% potted for a good cooking contract, it's like, okay, I'm just going to dump it into it. Alright, speaking of cooking contracts, I guess we'll wait till our next setup because I need to go there for potions anyways. I think I have a bunch of random items I kept making too. Because what I've been doing lately, whenever I was doing Detective earlier, is every single time I got 200% meter, I would go all the way to the mining district and go do like 3 sets of smithing so that I could go and cash in all into stonemason XP. And in doing so, we ended up getting this random mess over here of all these random weapons over here. So let me go sell these. It's not that much, they're like 10 each. I think the 2 stars were like 50 each. Still no 3-star from it though. Could use that little bit extra cash. And of course we're keeping the boot forever. The forever boots. That's our day 1, first hour boot right there. The only one that survived the rollback on day 1. How much money is this? Alright, 320. Not amazing, not all horrible. Alright, let's go get our potions that we're going to need since we're going to the mining district. I don't know, how do I want to do this? Honestly, I think I'm just going to bring normal 5% potions. I don't think I'm even going to bother with any of the 10%. Just a whole stack of 5%. Alright, what do we have here? Give me this, give me that. Don't want to get too many. I'm not sure how long we're going to go today. Give me like 150-ish. That should be more than enough, I think. We'll find out when it's not. Hopefully it is, though. Alright, what do we even need for our next cooking thing? Gnard. Okay, you know what I haven't been stocking up on that I probably should be? Stock. We need more stock of stock. As I have not been stocking up on stock, and that is the next thing we need. As far as, like, thing that we're going to have to make a billion of randomly. So let me start getting some of those while we're waiting on our contract in about a minute. And we should be good to go from there. Let's see, how's our stock looking like? Oh, that's all our entire stock. What we just put in is our entire stock of stock. Okay, interesting. Oh, we need more of that then. As that's the next big one we're going to need a lot of. And Gnards, oh no, I'm hoping they add a better way to bank by then. Gnards are kind of in the absolute middle of nowhere, next to the absolute nowheresness. It is a really bad location for banking. However, I would still need to bank some amount. It would likely be like the mana rays, where we only bank whenever we like bring them back with us, and pretty much never banked in any other situation. Yeah, which honestly, that's been going pretty good for mana rays. We can still have like 300-400 left in the bank. Unfortunately, we won't be able to get any more because we're past the level for it where it's viable. However, during that duration, it wasn't that bad. But that's the game plan for today. We're going to be testing some tile-efficient mining. Get our mining, get our smithing. Work on that for today. And then we'll probably hard pivot into whatever on Earth we end up needing to do for our setup for AFK for next week. Which is either going to be based on the poll today, based on Detective, keep doing mining, smithing, or doing the chef setup. All 3 of which are pretty doable. If we were to do Detective, it would be initially spotting thieves. Then we have to do investigations for about 30 levels. But it should go pretty quick. And then we would have the raid den ready. If we were to do chef, I would need to go and do a little bit more gather and make chicken and leek pie all the way to level 217, which would give us access to making vegetable stew as a active AFK activity. And if we were to go do mining smithing, we're pretty much already there. I already have every requirement for it. We just need to bank more of the material than what we have currently. As currently we have almost none, as we are basically starting it today. This is the whole game plan for today. Anyways, do I need any of this? Yes. Ooh, give me that. Give me that. Do I go all the way over there? Not for 10. I hate that location, and for 10, I'm not going to do that. I don't think. I don't know. I'll grab it in case I feel like it, but I don't think we're doing that one unless we absolutely had to. The biggest issue with our mana rays is, yes, we have a good number of them right now. However, the number we have needs to last us for like 50 more levels or something. Actually, when do we stop doing mana rays? That's a good check. Let me go double check real quick. We stopped doing mana rays at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 234. So once we have to start doing Gennards, I would no longer have to do the mana ray anymore. So until 234, so that's still a while. But anyways, let's go to the mines. Let's go get the grind going. Where are we going? Mine Southwest? But yeah, today's going to be the mining stream. It's something we've been neglecting for a while, but we have finally returned to the mines. Oh yeah, you know what else is happening today? In 1 hour and 12 minutes, we can finally do that oyster venture. Remember that oyster venture where we were spending days to go get set up and everything? We can finally go do that. Any moment now, we'll be able to go do that. But yeah, we're getting around to that. We'll have to go teleport back. We'll just get cooking contracts when we do this. Could be fine. Actually aligns with it pretty nicely. So it'll work out perfectly then. But let's go and see what kind of cycles we can end up getting here. So lately, I've tried a couple different things already off stream, just kind of testing. That's how the rest of our XP came from, because we have like half a level here. But yeah, we tested a couple things. Overall, thoughts on doing this? Oh no, it's a really weird pattern, but I think it is worth it. So basically what we're going to be doing, let's see. I think this is the final verdict of what I end up coming up with. It'll work better after our first cycle, but let me go and get it rolling. And since we haven't started it yet, it's going to be slightly different. Not much. It's mostly just when we did the potion. But, of course, we get Flatiniums now. 4.8k with our 5%, which is not too bad. But we're basically going to do a Platinum Carbony circle into a go-up ladder and drop everything, getting a full inventory at a time. We're actually going to be dropping full inventory by full inventory, which sounds slightly inefficient. But because we're working on the respawn timer, I believe it does save several tiles, from what I could tell earlier. Because we're basically going halfway there with a full inventory, but then still dropping it. Originally it was before, because we had a partial inventory, but the way that this actually works out, since we're dipping over to Cabernice, we actually do get full inventory from this. And due to how the new respawn system works ever since queuable action, we will get there in time. So hello Isabel, welcome, welcome. Hope you've been having a wonderful start of your weekend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Greybeard's here as well. Nice. He's joining us on the grind. Pretty sure he's doing Cabernice only, though. Which is generally the way to do it. We're just going to be doing a bit of a weird method here. Alright, so we're only going to get 8 on our way back, so I believe I only need 6 here. As weird as that may seem. Hey, he's there. Oh, wrong one. Oh, I already did it wrong. Oh, no, never mind. That's all right. That's all right. You're definitely not doing Vault Event this weekend? Oh, I will be. Actually, I think we'll be streaming it later tonight as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream it every day this weekend, but I did want to stream it at least a little bit. Because I've been slacking on them lately. But I'll probably stream it for Gems of War later tonight at our normal time. And next weekend, we'll probably be doing some amount of Guild Wars as well. Or sorry, not next weekend, but 2 weekends from now. Or whenever it is. I forget what the date was. They're cutting into your plushie grind. We don't have to stop by if you don't want. Also, gosh, how many plushies do you have in Palia these days? Because that number must be so high. Alright, so our game plan here is to drop everything on this tile as we get to save a corner. And the whole reason for doing it like this is we're waiting on the respawn. And the best part about this is while we're waiting on the respawn, we can grab our potion, drink our potion, and look at that, they're ready to go. But yeah, I was timing it out earlier with several different routes. And for what I could tell, this works the best. It has like the least amount of downtime. By the time you drink the potion, it's ready to go. The only thing that's kind of annoying is you have to keep juggling it, but that will be fixed whenever we have a equipable potion. And I needed more Cabernet anyway, so this works out perfectly. Because I think I only ended up banking about 1,000 when I was doing Cabernet at the level range. I said, hello, Glorp! Yeah, we don't know for sure, but one of the 2 new quests that are coming, one of them is very, very, very likely to have a equipable potion. Currently, the dev team is moving into a new office and doubling their team. So, yeah, they've been a little bit busy lately. However, one of those 2 quests that should be added in the next few weeks is very, very likely to have a equipable potion. So it is finally going to be coming soon, as well as more content in general. As their content consistency should get quite a bit quicker with, like, double the size of a team. As they're having pretty much double as many coders and double as many people working on art, so that's a lot of extra people. But yeah, they're currently moving, and I think they're going to be fully situated by Monday, I think is what they end up mentioning. Of course, we won't see the effects of it immediately, obviously, but, you know, it'll help speed along content in the future. Short term, it won't really speed up much, but, you know, if anything, it's actually slowing things down, because if it wasn't for that, I'm pretty sure they already would have had the first quest out. I think they're just waiting until they get situated in their next office. Because they said about a week or 2, they were just waiting on the combat rework. And the combat rework's already been in the game for, like, a week now. So I think the only thing holding them back is the fact they don't want to release it midway through an office change. In case they need to do any bug fixes or anything to it. But supposedly the first quest of the 2 that we should be getting in the next few weeks is already 100% completed. They're likely just waiting until the office situation is situated. But yeah, I know that's annoying. I had to move everything out of my house for when the floors got redone from some hurricane damage in the past. We had to do that the other week or a couple weeks ago. And gosh, was that annoying. Couldn't imagine moving entire office places. Because that would pretty much be the same thing. You would have to pack up everything, bring everything over to the other area. Very annoying. You're soft maxing today, can finally focus on combat? Nice, huge congrats. Love to see it. Yeah, basically considered the same thing with 200 all. Like, as soon as I got there, it's like, yeah, we're basically max. For all intents and purposes, we're max level. Everything from here is just extra. Still a lot of objectives we need beyond 200, though, but it's basically max level. Hello, could you drop, please? I wish you could queue a drop. If you don't do it at just the right time, it'll just completely eat your drop input, which is not ideal. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we will be doing Xenoblade Chronicles X. This was one of the few games I did plan to play this year. It was Xenoblade Chronicles X, Slay the Spire 2, and if the Switch 2 comes out this year, whatever on Earth looks good on the Switch 2 at launch. But those are the main games I currently know of that we'll be playing that isn't Brighter Shores this week, or this year, I mean. As far as, like, other games on the channel. And one of them comes out in a week from now. I didn't realize it was so close. I thought it was, like, right at the end of the month, but, I guess 1 week from now is kind of at the end of the month. But I thought it was deeper than that. It's actually right around the corner. So yeah, the current poll for today is what we end up AFKing. I was considering Raid Dens, but I figured we'd poll it just to see what it comes out to. Because I was considering all 3 of them. It was one of the reasons we were even doing our mining pivot. Was like, ooh, let's go get enough Flatinium so we could go smith them all. But the problem with that is that means we're constantly mining on stream. Because that's another factor too. Whatever one we end up doing is what we're doing a lot on stream. So if you want to see like spotting thieves and doing investigations, mostly investigations for like 30 levels, then that would be what detective is. If you want to see us keep mining, that's what the smithing mining grind is. And of course, chef is basically a little bit of gatherer into making 1 billion leek pies, as it would have to get 217 chef by then, so we can AFK stews. Which is really gatherer and chef heavy. Well, obviously. But it's basically just making 1 billion leek pies until we have 217, essentially. Like doing nothing but that till leek pie. I mean, until stew. Also, one great thing about this potion is it lasts pretty much perfectly for the entire duration. I think we get every single one except the final or 2 with this one single potion. Actually, no, it might fade as we go here, so it'll be the final 4, unfortunately. Just because of the distance between them. If this was like iron ore, we'd probably be able to get more, but gosh, they're so far away. They're like a mile away. Oh, also, we only do a triple set like we did with the other one. I don't think it's worth doing a quad. Quad, similar to the other one, is just way too time tight, so I don't want to bother with it. So we'll just go for the triple when we do this as well. Really hope Chef becomes more useful. Yeah, that's one of the main reasons I've been kind of poking up. It's actually my lowest skill at the current moment in time, just because, yeah, it's useless. Chef is really, really bad in the current state of the game. Obviously, it will hopefully get buffed in the future. Also, hello, Sir Valiant. Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. With the second hello. Not sure Robert is the first one, but welcome, welcome. But yeah, I assume Chef will become more viable in the future. He's right now, the 3 weakest skills, ironically, one of them is my lowest and one of them is my highest. The 3 weakest skills in the game right now are Fisher, Chef, and Detective. All 3 of them have no use case outside their chapter at all in any way, shape, or form. Oh, by the way, this is a diagonal where you save a tile. Remember yesterday when we were talking about, ooh, does this diagonal save as a tile or not? One of the reasons we're doing this is yes. This diagonal does indeed save a tile. The main reason being is the way that that corner is shaped. You would always have to do both tiles in order to, you know, not cross through the river. Otherwise, it'll path you through a river. Because you can't diagonal here. Like, if I wanted to move to this tile, notice how it has, like, a double tile there instead of a single. So this actually saves us one tile having it there compared to a different location. Otherwise, we'd have to double path to it instead of single path. So that's one of the reasons why we're dropping it specifically there. But that is pretty much our game plan for grinding all these. Unfortunately, both the two things are done at a different furnace, but they're both material we need. Both of them make blue weapons. In the case of the blue one, it makes basically our best in slot weapons in the entire game, both for physical and for just blue in general. But the other one ends up making our best blue range weapon, which in the current state of the game is pretty bad because there's nothing really that you need to be wielding a shield for while doing it. But, I don't know, it's not that bad. Like, it's bad, but it's not, like, unusable. And hopefully after it gets a special attack and everything like that, we'll see exactly what its place is. But he definitely seems like more of, like, a tank kiting weapon. Wouldn't even be surprised if it has, like, a slow effect on it for a special attack. Because it's the only range weapon for any class of the primary color of the class that is one-handed instead of two-handed. Both Hammer Mage and Guardian are two-handed for their main color weapon. But Cryo Knight is not. It's a one-handed weapon. Which is bad because that means its DPS is horrifically awful. But it's good in the sense that it will probably be good for PvP and bossing. Particularly PvP if it has like a slowdown effect or something. Where you could really kite with it or something. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. It's still up in the air what on earth they're doing special attacks and skill tree and everything. We know some vague stuff of what they're kind of doing with it, but at this point, a lot of it's up in the air as to what on earth is going to happen. I was going to have to wait and see. Oh yeah, I just realized, given how we're doing this, I can actually use the points immediately. That's one nice benefit of using a 5%. I can actually dump the points immediately into whatever I want to do. We don't even need to double dip them anymore. I keep trying to do that because out of habit. And if there was a couple of potions right now, I would be using a 7% for it. However, I do not want to juggle 2 potions. It's already bad enough to having to do 1. So I'm simply just going to 5% our Stone Mason today. We are losing a little bit of value, but it's not that bad. It also helps save us more 7% in the future. But yeah, we'll just be using a 5% for them. As I refuse to have to juggle 2 different potions. One's already bad enough. I'm fine with 1. Until equipable potions come out, and then we'll go do it that way. But until that day... Oh, the Flatiniums actually spawned in time because I used the point. Interesting. Normally they do not spawn in time. And this route is based on them not spawning in time. Otherwise we would grab them. I really wish there was a way to make them spawn in time. Unless you deliberately stall and wait there, I'm not aware of any way to do so. I guess maybe you could throw the boost potion there, but then you're doing a lot of time of just walking, gaining no XP, so I'm not sure. For Guardians, we had a main stat one-hand and two-hand with a tier 1 speed. Guardian Supremacy. I don't know, one thing that's kind of awkward about that though, we'll have to see when bossing comes out. It is currently not possible, though higher movement speed in battle or something like that could fix that though. But it's currently not possible in the current state of the game. The skill tree or something else might fix this. But it is currently not possible to attack with a max speed weapon while moving and still maintaining attack speed. You will always lose at least 1 tick, or exactly 1 tick, assuming you do a cardinal direction. It's slightly more delayed for diagonal though. But you will always lose at least 1 tick when using a max attack speed weapon if you move and then attack. You have to use a middle speed weapon or slower to not lose any attack speed. Which could be something that might be a little bit awkward if the combat tree and everything else doesn't fix that. Because we might be getting quicker movement speed, but we don't know exactly how that might work. But if we do end up getting that, it needs to be able to make it so when you move with a 4-tick weapon, you don't lose any attack speed. Because currently you do, which is a very problematic on bossing when using a max attack speed weapon, as any movement lowers your damage. Otherwise, you have to do a really awkward move where you have to use like a slower hitting weapon every time you want to move. Like literally every time if you want to maintain DPS. Which worst comes to worst wouldn't be horrible for Guardian because once you have more ammo, the bow that they have is max slow. So, like it's the slowest speed possible. So you could just do one bow proc before you go and move. Because that would likely be the meta for Guardians if they don't fix that. It'd be every time you ever need to move during a boss fight, you would poke with your bow. And then move during the downtime of that attack speed and then switch back to melee. That or use a slower one-handed weapon for a poke or something. But it's really clunky with how they are right now. It's an issue that Hammer Mage and Cryo Knight doesn't have as much. Because they both have a really good slow-hitting two-hand. Or, you know, mid-speed two-hand of their main color. But that's something Guardian's actually missing. They do have a good two-hand, like their fire two-hand's probably going to be pretty good. Particularly for special attack. But, yeah, the problem is they actually don't have a slower two-hand weapon. It's the only class that doesn't. Which can actually be somewhat detrimental. Obviously, in training, in the current state of the game, it's actually really beneficial. Especially with how cheap their boost potions are. But in bossing, in the current way that movement works, it could actually be detrimental. Due to not be able to move as much during the fight. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But for current combat, it's really good. They basically have the best setup for training combat in the current state of the game. Despite the fact, I think the two people that are max are both Cryo Knights, oddly enough. That's more so because they just power grinded it, not necessarily because they're Cryo Knights. They just happen to be doing, like, non-stop combat. Actually, now that I think about it, I think the top 3 people in combat are all Cryo Knight. But I think it's just because the Cryo Knight population is so high. More so than anything. Not because Cryo Knights are better overall at combat, they do have a few benefits that are nice. Most notably, their physical two-hand, they could just be used against everything. As well as having way better access to crafting their two-hand weapon, that's really good. Because one issue with Hammer Mage doing that, like for Guardian, it's really free. Honestly, they probably have it the easiest. For Cryo Knight, you're watching me do it right now. What we're doing right now is how you bank the best weapon in the entire game for Cryo Knight. Literally what we're doing right now. As well as the Flatinium Granite method that we'll do once we have a higher mining level. But for now, we gotta do Flatinium Crab Bernice. But, yeah, this is literally, you're watching it right now. This is crafting the best Cryo Knight weapon in the game process. We'll be pretty much doing the whole thing today. Actually, might as well. Might as well even get the final step in. We'll do the full process of making the best weapon for Cryo Knight in the game. Of course, this one doesn't go to max level, but, you know, the one after it does, tier 6. But, it's pretty quick, easy for Guardian as well. All they have to do is get Bone Spikes, which are 1 tile away from a bank, and Suavies, which are 1 tile away from a bank, and boom, they just got their best green two-hand in the entire game. The biggest issue is for Hammer Mage. Hammer Mage needs Deathstone and U-Pole. Out of every class in the entire game, there is not a single one that has more horrible access to their good two-hand than Hammer Mages. It's actually insane how absurdly hard it is to make. Because for Guardians, it's like, oh, I need 2 different material, but it's only 1 tile from a bank for both of them. For Cryo Knights, it's like, oh, all you gotta do is just mine this 1 rock and don't even need any other supplies. Yeah, it's a little far from a bank, but, you know, all you have to do is just mine this and boom, you're good to go. And obviously smith and everything, but, you know, like, you don't need any other component. You just simply mine this blue rock and then boom, you got yourself your weapon. You just need to get enough of them because you use a lot per. But for Hammer Mage, gosh, you gotta go get like 1 billion woodcutting levels, then 1 billion carpentry levels to go get your U-Pole, which has the highest requirement of anything in carpentry. Then you also need to get Deathstone, which is not only the highest requirement of anything for mining, especially if you want tier 5, or tier 6, I mean, 490. But on top of that, it also costs money or explosives every single time you want to get any of them. And on top of that, it is the slowest accumulation of any ore in the game. It is so bad. It is under the spec category of weapon, though. So whatever that weapon is honestly probably going to be the best weapon in the entire game. Relative to, like, every other category. But gosh, is that thing annoying to make. Even though it's probably going to be the best burst spec weapon of any weapon in the game, while also being a good main hand, two-hand weapon. The actual process for making it is absurd. Though, Cryo Knight and Guardian still have a weapon like that. It's just they have it for different elements instead of the main color. Oh yeah, how many are we up to right now? Is this bank? Yeah, this is bank. I just double checking. But, yeah, Cryo Knight has it for Necrome. Their big heavy weapon, and Guardians have it for fire. But Hammer Mages are the only ones that got it for the primary color. I wonder if anyone's done a full breakdown of that yet. We've talked about it a lot. I guess it would matter a lot more after special attacks come out explaining it all. But you can already see like the design differences that they're trying to do with a lot of them. Like Cryo Knight shield priority for a lot of things. Hammer Mage is really burst damagey kind of priority. Whatever on earth they're doing with Guardians. Guardian's probably the least clear as far as what direction it's trying to go in. Because all their main hand weapons are really, really quick, but then everything else is like a weird mix match of everything. Whereas it's a lot clearer what kind of direction they're trying to go with Cryo Knight and Hammer Mage. Compared to Guardian. But we'll have to wait after special attacks come out. Because this one will really know like the full combat thing with everything with it. But I've still been wanting to cover videos in this game for a while. I feel like we were talking about it for a while and then never got around one to one. What's new? But I really need to at some point. We basically haven't covered a single video ever. We did like one little small tiered list speculation thing before the game came out. And we did a one week first impression video. But I've literally covered nothing since then. Like at all. Probably need to at some point though. One thing I really want to cover is a comprehensive mining guide. Still need slightly higher mining though. The earliest of earliest of earliest I would ever cover is 317. Because that's when you get the last unique method. Ideally I'd want to cover it after I have 500. But 317 is the earliest I would ever cover it. If we were to make like a tick perfect, tile perfect, every possible route. But also here's the simplified version, mining guide. There actually is quite a bit of routes for every single rock. Depending on what your goal is for it or what level range you're at. Not as much as like woodcutting into Gatherer or like Forger into Fisher. Like those have way higher diversity. But there is some synergy for mining. Depending on what your goal is at a given time. You're planning on making mining one of your early 500s. It's nice and AFK. Yeah, whenever you're doing a room of 8, it's actually a really good AFK activity. It's one of the reasons I actually waited on the original guide. There's a couple of reasons, but one of them is queuable action. Queuable action actually affects mining pretty heavily. If you want to do it more as an AFK skill, particularly iron. Iron is by far, which is kind of funny because in this other game, power mining iron was also the best thing to do. But iron is the only thing that you can mine that has 8 nodes in a room that is one click away from a bank. Every other one that's set up is not one clickable to a bank, but iron is. The next closest is like Adather, which I think is like 2 to a bank, but sometimes you get caught in combat, which is kind of awkward. But it's like 2 click to a bank. But iron is the only one that's 1 click. You go in this room, mine the entire room 3 times, click over here to bank, go back, repeat. It's really, really, really good. Unfortunately, I'm not really at a level range where it's worth doing though at the moment. Also have more iron than I ever know what to do with. That's really AFK. Just mine 8, mine 8, mine 8, bank everything, repeat. It's only 1 click bank. Or, you know, 1 click to walk next to the bank. Obviously, you gotta click a few more times to actually bank it. But 1 click to walk to the bank. Whereas everything else is a lot more complicated to bank compared to iron. So is iron if you're doing it really efficiently. If you're doing a super AFK, it's the easiest one to bank by far. Like, it's not even close. Actually, that's not true. Can you 1 click here? Oh, wait, that's not true! Wait, Flaniums can 1 click. You just have to make sure you end your cycle downwards, which is a little bit awkward. But I didn't think about that. Ever since the room change, you can actually one-click Flatnium as well. This didn't used to be possible because it's more than 2 rooms away with how the old system used to work. But now you can with Big Circle. I forgot about that. It's kind of awkward though because you can only do it towards the north. You cannot do it if you're in the south side, as you will not go far enough. But if you're on the north side of Flatnium, you can actually do it. That would take a little bit of planning beyond how you normally you would AFK like Iron. But yeah, never mind. You can actually one-click Flatnium as well. I forgot about that. Ever since they added circle radius. So Alexander, how is dropping stacking quicker than banking the full inventory? Mostly because of the respawn time. We're trying to minimize how much we have to go and wait on the respawn. That's the main reason why we're doing the drop thing right now. Originally, it was to try to get a nice divisible number. But at this point, it's mostly just so we are back in time for every single respawn. But yeah, since we are doing a full inventory, because originally this routing was based on us having like a potion or 2 in our bank, or in our inventory. I think this is almost basically speed neutral at this point. As we only save 1 tile when grabbing diagonally. Which of course gets wasted by all the movement anyways. But, yeah, this is pretty much neutral. It was originally set up because I was expecting to have 2 potions on me. But then I realized I could just struggle and grab a little bit more Cabernet, and it kind of worked out. But it's mostly to be back in time for every respawn. And then just banking all of them at once when we can go back to back to back. I personally find it a little bit more convenient that way, as far as menuing. Just so you don't always have to be like ready on the escape key and everything. But no, what we're doing right now is not too much more tile efficient than just doing normally. It would be if we were doing a cycle that wasn't exactly 24. As originally planned. Like if we were doing like a really heavy Flatnium ore focus. Also, when we end up doing Flatnium plus Granite, we would always be banking immediately. I would never be dropping on the ground. Because you would just grab 4 Granite on your way to go do Cabernet. I mean, to your way to go do bank, I mean. But no, compared to doing this with Iron or Carbonese, this one saves basically no time, if any time at all. As more so just a preference thing for this one. Do you recommend buying Deathstone or mining it, or skipping it entirely? Yes, skipping it entirely. The only Deathstone I've basically done, aside from just messing around with it, a few streams where I bought a few extra, but basically the amount that I've gotten from the daily. Not counting the amount that I've gotten from the daily, I basically have done no Deathstone. So I'm going to have like 1.5k from the last 2.5 months of us doing this daily. And once I use those 1.5k, once we hit the level range to use them at like whatever it is, 300 something, like 331 or whatever it was at. Once I go and use up all of them, I am never doing that rock again. So I would say basically just use what you have from your venture and nothing more than that. But yeah, they are really badly scaled in the current state of the game. It's something that definitely needs a little bit of adjusting in the future. Like, their price and how pricey they are in the shops is perfectly fine. And everything like that. The biggest issue is their EXP rate and knowledge rate is really bad. Out of any active method, I believe it has the worst knowledge rate of anything in the game. Due to how much time you're spending walking. Because you always have to walk to go get more dynamite. Even if you wanted to, like, drop them on the ground, which you'd never do. But even if you wanted to just, like, drop them on the ground and power mine, you can't even do it because you always have to go back for explosives. Which makes their knowledge per hour really, really, really low. Because for whatever reason, their knowledge rate is scaled as if you have infinite dynamite on you. Despite the fact you can only do 24. Like, everything about them, it feels like it's scaled as if you had infinite dynamite, even though you need to go back and get 24 every single time. It's definitely something that needs a little bit of a reskill. It's the same issue that Chef has for a couple things. Where it doesn't really put into account too much, like, going to the bank and, you know, needing to get the supplies that you need to get. But Dynamite is the exact same way. Like, the rates that you get for it, both EXP and knowledge-wise, pretty much assume you have infinite Dynamite on you, despite only having 24 at a time. Which leaves a lot of walking in dead space where you're just trying to get more Dynamite back. It's something I assume they will rescale in the future. but they have yet to do so. And it should be a max stack here, so let me just go all the way. But yeah, the method that we're doing right now for this thing does not really save us that much tiles at all. If anything, given the time of having to go and pick it back up, I think it loses us a few tiles. Because the only tile we gain during all this, aside from being able to get directly on spawn, is this one tile right here. It saves one tile of movement. But the amount of time you have to spend dropping and everything loses more than that. It's like doing a lot back to back. You just find it annoying having to keep being ready on escape key. Honestly, I should just go bind escape key to my mouse or something. Just so it's not as annoying to go do. That's another thing too. Can you rebind that in settings? I never actually bothered doing that yet. I did on Steam Deck. I didn't bother it on Steam yet though. I mean on PC, I mean. But yeah, Deathstone is definitely something they gotta look into. I'm perfectly fine with how overly expensive it is. That's actually a good thing. And that's about the only good thing about it. Is its price is actually scaled really relative to effort and everything to make sure they're always viable. The biggest issue is their XP rate and knowledge rate is abysmal. Mostly due to how far Dynamite is. I just wish there was a Dynamite bank like right next to them or something. Like there needs to be a Dynamite bank right... either... like somewhere's in this area. Like either in this room, this hallway in like some kind of like enclave. Or at the absolute furthest, somewhere's in this room. You should not have to go all the way over there every time you need Dynamite again. That's just too far. Maybe even this room, since you have to go there anyways for storage rift. Oh no, somewhere's that isn't where it currently is. Somewhere's closer than that. Because this is just way too far right now. Also, by the way, as far as how much we're mining today, I don't really have any particular goal necessarily. Other than number go up. Also, just out of convenience, I might just start banking them a full inventory at a time. Just so we don't have to keep worrying about the juggle. As much as I like the juggle. Out of any juggle for any resource, this is the one that affects the least, assuming you're getting the Carbonice. The juggle does matter if you're only doing Carbonice only, though, or Platinum only, I mean. But it does not help you at all if you're doing a combination of both. As you're already filling up your whole inventory. Because the whole reason normally for the juggle is either there's a lot of downtime that you're doing nothing, just standing there, like with Andesite earlier. Or the other reason that you end up doing it is because it's not divisible by 24. Or, you know, not divisible into 24. Or at least not with one inventory. Because we can only get 10 at a time. So to be able to be divisible by it, we'd have to do 6 sets of them before it would go into 24. Or before 24 would go into it. Which is what we end up doing for iron. We would drop 5 sets and then have 1 set in our inventory. Which means we'd only have to bank 5 times instead of 6, which would save a lot of time. It's not only where they moved closer to the bank every time, but it was also 1 less trip we had to make. But for something like this, it's pretty neutral to go all the way or not all the way. Not going all the way saves you a tile and gets here quicker on respawn. But going all the way is just easier to infinite loop. Which I guess for the stream, we'll just do it like this then. It's not more infinitely repeatable because you don't need to worry about how much is on the ground. You simply walk over there. Oh yeah, by the way, that corner over there was that one corner I was talking about earlier. This whole path over here. There's a lot of weird areas here where it sometimes loses you a tile depending on where the game feels like putting you. It's really weird. I normally don't bother manual clicking through here though. It's one of the only alleyways I've seen in the game where the game actually actively loses you a tile sometimes. As normally when it tries cutting that corner. Like, sometimes it hugs the wall and wastes a tile, but other times it goes wide and doesn't waste a tile. It's really weird. I just don't normally bother with it. Whatever the game puts us on path-wise, I was gonna roll with it. It's not that big a deal. But yeah, this finally makes up for all the lack of Cabernice that we had from earlier. There's actually a big issue that we had early on because we wanted the better XP rate. I think I only have like 1,000 Cabernice banked, not even. But it still finally fixed our Cabernice numbers to be not pitiful. As we are going to need several thousand in the future. We don't need them quite yet, but we will need them, you know, down the line. If only the combat merge would come out so we can actually go do combat again. Because aside from AFK raid dens, if we do end up doing that next week, we're pretty much not gaining any combat until the merge. Also, if I was to do AFK raid dens, we would be doing it for the minimalist amount of time possible. Before, if you were doing raid dens, you would do it from 344 to like 393, and even then still keep considering doing it. But in a new state of the game, if we were to grind for it, we would go and do Bert's Gallery until 315 instead of any raid den. We would then do the investigations, like the really active ones, the entire time until we get to 344. And at 344, we would only do the raid den until 373. The second we get to 373, we'd want to stop doing the raid den. As they are actually considered the worst activity now rather than the best. Because before it was raid den is the best, investigations are the second best, and spotting thieves is the worst. But now it is kind of completely flip-flopped. Where doing investigations is the best, spotting thieves is the second best, and now raid dens are the worst. Because they give basically 0 combat XP and give you max penalty every single time. There's only one really good upside about the new detective system, or the new raid den system, in its exact state that it is in right now. And that is the enemies are so weak that you never need a prep for the raid den. So before, you know, we had a lot of trouble prepping for some of the raid dens, particularly like the 219. Like, it was really hard to gear for that. And then it would have been like absurdly hard to gear for the 344. And even more so for the 451. But that's not a thing anymore. We walk in there and we're already too broken. Like, we're already way too strong the second we enter this place, as well as this other place. That's one slight upside of it. Even though you get almost no combat XP per hour now, you don't need to prep gear anymore. Like, you don't need to prep your combat level, you don't need to prep gear, you just simply walk in and just obliterate them. Which is something you wouldn't have done before. Because now you can actually go do all the other side stuff and not need to worry about it. Before, if you did like any side stuff, like if you did investigations for too long or spotting thieves for too long, you'd be so underleveled. But now you go in and it's like, okay, well, dead. I can just go in here, what I have, not even upgrade anything. Be good to go. Wipe them out. Could literally be wearing 1-star armor and be fine. Honestly, could probably wear no armor and be fine. There's one upside of the new system. The other upside is you make a lot more gold getting the 500 detective. It's a lot less AFK, but you make a lot more gold. As you're forced to have to do the spotting thieves a lot more often. Because before you would have never done the 373 spotting thieves. At most you would have done the 344 until the investigation. Or if you really wanted to, you could just keep doing the thieves all the way to 451. Or at least until the better spotting thieves, if nothing else. But now you actually have to engage with every new activity for detective. At least post 200 anyways. Pre 200 you can probably still get away with it a little bit. But after level 200, you basically are forced to have to do every new activity once you get them. Like, once we get done spotting thieves at 296, we have to move to investigation. Once we get investigation, we probably have to move to raid dens. Though that's one that we could actually skip, oddly enough, but we probably still would. And then for this, we'd, you know, have to do it, so on and so forth. So that's one nice thing about the raid den change, I guess. You don't need to overly gear anymore like you did before, and you actually have to engage with everything in detective, rather than doing like 90% raid den. Hello, MK Jets! Welcome, welcome, welcome! I still feel like raid dens need a little bit of a tweak, though. But I don't know. We'll have a good opinion about them if we do end up doing that grind. Because by then we'll kind of know what we need by then. Or, you know, what the new rates are and everything. Because regardless if we try setting up that grind for next week or not, it is a grind we will be doing at some point. You get to 344 detectives so we can go do a raid den AFK again. Currently, it look like Chef AFK is winning. If we were to do Chef AFK over the next few days, what that would entail is probably a lot of Gatherer this weekend. Like, probably the next 2 streams being Gatherer. Like, you know, not a gathering skill like Miner, but actual Gatherer. Until we get to 224. Which would also set us up for our next Alchemy grind. But after that, we would probably pivot over to... Well, not probably, but we would pivot over to making every single one of those leek pies until we have the level we need. Like, basically leek pie all the way from 204.5 all the way to 217. One nice thing about that is we'll have infinite banked. Or, you know, you can just go to the shop and keep buying them every single time. I might end up pre-banking them. It does waste time pre-banking them. But I might pre-bank them for a couple hours so I can really AFK it. It is technically inefficient to ever bank stews. Stews and omelets are things you should never, ever bank. Same as bacon sandwich. You actually lose time by banking them compared to not banking them. However, it is far more AFK if you never need to leave the room. But yeah, I still hope they buff Chef at some point. That's the only thing I hate about training Chef. Is like, what are we training it for? I guess to some degree, Detective's kind of similar in that regard. Because they're both the main 2 skills that have that issue. Technically Fisher as well, but they're kind of connected together. But Fisher, Chef, and Detective all have no purpose currently. At a high level range. It's something I hope they solve in the future. The main thing I would love to see for Detective is Detect Aura being better at a higher level range. Where you can get upgrades for it up to like level 300, 400 something or something. That gives you like more stats on enemies that you wouldn't normally be able to have. Like DPS to it, DPS to you, other similar things. Maybe even their drop table. Basically like an entire wiki page of information. He actually had a spell like that in his other game called Monster Examine. But basically that, but even more info. Is what I wish Detect Aura did if you had like absurdly high detect level. And aside from that, obviously, make some food consumable that are Fisher related, as well as Forager related and Gatherer related. That way Forager, Gatherer, and Fisher all have a reason for their cooking supplies. As well as Delver, if Delver adds any. I don't think it does, but I think Delver only adds AFK activity. I don't think there's a single active food that you need from Delver. There are passive foods that you get from Delver, but I don't think there's a single active one unless they're adding one once it happens. But who knows, maybe they might. But the only thing we know for Delver that has any food synergy is all for passives, not for actives. Oh, we almost got our first mining level. But yeah, mining's in a weird in-between. In that, the impacts from its level ranges, I don't feel like we really feel as much whenever they happen. Like, obviously, once you do the smithing component and the final component, you really feel it. But the actual gather component, I don't feel like I feel as much as, like, some of the other skills. Like, the impact of them. It's only when you get to their final step that you feel, like, the entire value of what you did for mining. Whereas when we do gather, if we do that for the chef grind soon... I don't know, something about it just feels like it's making more of an immediate impact compared to mining. I don't know, something about it. Oh, so we're doing this like really casually now. I forget what I put in the title. But we're doing this like as basic as you possibly can right now. I was originally going to do a few more other elaborate things with it. But if we're not bothering to keep any potions on us, we really don't need to bother. Generally, the only reason you have to do weird shenanigans when it comes to mining is either because of the downtime of it or because you can only get 10 at a time. But because there's another rock so nearby, you don't really need to bother with it. It's the same reason you don't have to do anything too fancy while doing Basalt Flint. Because Basalt Flint basically just solves itself. Given that you get Flint on your way back to the bank. So it just auto-solves whatever your inventory is, so you don't ever need to do anything fancy for it. As the game is already set up in a way where it just kind of works. And Flatinium Cavernous is a little bit like that. Where basically you just grab Cavernous to fill up whatever you need for Flatinium. And then once you get Granite, you just fill Granite for whatever you need for Flatinium. Like, let's say we had, hypothetically, Granite unlocked right now. All you would do is 10 Flatinium, then 10 Flatinium, then grab 4 Granite on your way back. Boom, you're good to go. Or however many you have space for. It'd be 4 if you had no potion in your inventory, of course. But, you know, you might have a potion or 2 until Quibble Potion comes out. But that would be the route once we get to level 278. I don't actually switch to Granite. It would be better for mining XP, but it would be worse for smithing XP. So the second we do get to 278 is sometime in the future. Probably not for a while, but whenever we do finally get to 278, the pivot's going to be not much of a pivot. It's basically what we're doing now, but we'll do 10 sets of Flatinium, and then just grab the 4 Granite on our way to the bank. Instead of grabbing Flatinium in Cavernous. The cycle would take slightly longer than what we're doing now, though, oddly enough. But we would get a higher concentration of Flatinium. Because you'd have to wait for those to respawn. Which is really awkward. That's the only thing I kind of hate about the new respawn system here. I wish all 10 of them were in the same room. There's not a single situation where that's the case. But it's just so annoying that those 2 are so far away. You don't have as much of an issue with that with every other one. Because they're more clustered together. But the distance from the first Flatinium you take and the final Flatinium is so annoying compared to the other 2, or the other 3, I mean. I don't think any of them have a longer distance than Flatinium. Or at least it feels like it anyways, with how the room setup is. Not sure the exact tile preciseness of it. The only one that could maybe be further is the green one, but I don't think it is. Like, the green one is not that far. The furthest distance is this green ore away from that green ore vein. Like, it's a little bit away, but it's not that far. Flatinium definitely feels way further away. And the problem with that is how the respawn system works, because they're all based on the first one you take in a room. But you take the first one so early because you take it over here. But then you don't take the other one until all the way over there. I don't know, is that further? It's hard to tell. Because you have to do like a weird roundabout for Adithril. Which is something you don't have to do for this. While banking you do, but while actually mining it you don't. I do have to say, it is satisfying to get more of this material though. We've been wanting this material for such an absurdly long time. As it makes every best in slot weapon we have in the current state of the game. And likely to be the future state of the game, because the max combat cape... or, you know, the combat capes have the 2-hand for your colored weapon on it. Which means they're always expecting that to be your main, like, damage good weapon for every class. And you know what makes that for Cryonite? 6 of these! 6 of these equal 1 best in slot weapon. And you know how broken that weapon is? It's nearly as good, not counting special attack-wise, but at least as far as base stats and everything, it is exactly the same, base stat-wise, as what the U, Stock, and Deathstone hammer is for for Hammer Mage. Like that really absurdly annoying hammer that will likely be an insanely good spec weapon and everything. But it is exactly the same pre-spec. Like prior to specs being out, it is the exact same weapon, just for blue instead of yellow. They're the same attack speed, same damage range, same percent range. It's literally just a blue version of it instead of yellow. The only difference is their special attack that doesn't exist yet. In which case that yellow weapon is likely getting a slightly better special attack. Though I am hoping the 2-hand for Cryonite gets freeze. I will be so disappointed if that 2-hand does not have a Zamorak Godsword like freeze them in place mechanic. I want to see that so badly. Just freeze them in a block of ice. I want it so badly. So badly. I wonder if they're going to take suggestion for special attacks. Like, it seems like they already have some direction for what they want to do with them. But I wonder if they will ask, like, when the beta comes out, what do you think about this special attack or this one or this one? Like, almost do a poll on it, for example. Like, one big master poll based on the feedback. Because I don't think there was a poll on the recent beta, was there? I don't think there was. Like, gauging feedback on any one given thing. But I really, really hope for the special attack one, once they bring that out, they do a poll for literally every special attack in the entire game. And be like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Should it be like this? Blah, 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 you know. Like, basically on, like, a 1 to 5 scale. Like, what's your thought on this thing? But still be able to leave suggestions and everything. It'd be nice if they actually knew, like, how favorable or unfavorable people viewed every special attack. Because the balance on that's going to be a huge issue. It was actually the biggest concern I had before the game came out. Because back then we just kind of assumed special attacks would be at launch, but they weren't. But the biggest concern was always the balance between the classes. And one just being like way stronger than the other two to the point where you're basically trolling by not playing that class. Right now, they're like decently not broken compared to each other. Like there's benefits and downsides to each class currently. They're pretty minuscule, but they are there currently. But special attacks are the main thing that kind of like define each class once they do come out. Like the huge difference between each one of them. And there's a good chance one of them will come out a little bit stronger than the other two. We just don't know how it's going to come out by the end. But that's why we're progressing 3 slots. I really do need to go grind the 2 alt accounts at some point. It's honestly a grind I want to get around to soon. There's 2 things I really, really need to get them that they currently do not have. One is a post 200 AFK skill, as neither of them have one currently. And there's no point in trying to do it for combat now because you would need to get 800, which just takes way too long. But I want to get both of them a post 200 AFK skill. And I need to get both of them 39 fishing. For the same reason we got 226 fishing on our main account. It's just a double venture right next to each other that's just really easy to take. And currently they're only running one venture like a few times a week. But if they had access to double lobster, they'd be able to take it a lot quicker. This is decently easy to get there, plus it is, you know, 2 for the price of 1. They're right on top of each other. I do have to say, though, the stonemason one is burning so much money. I didn't actually realize how much profit you make from doing bone right AFK until I started AFK in it. Bone right is so free. 500 bone right is like the freest out of any skill here. As far as the 3 production skills. It is actually insane how free AFK bone right is. Like every single one is either profit or an absurdly good material that you need for like next chapter. Because it's like AFK builder AFK. But it is so insane how good the passives are for bone right compared to the honestly any other production skill in the game. It actually blows every single one out of the water. Like it's not even close. It's not even remotely close. And smithing's the absolute worst, which is unfortunate. Every single one just burns money. But no, it's rather interesting. Because my stonemason almost needs to go do another... Like, my hammer mage almost needs to go do another skill. Just so it's not in, like, infinite negative money. I'm not sure what skill that would really be, though. Because there's not too many AFKs that are as good as... Because ideally, I want them to get a production level up really high. But there is only one production level that you can get up, like, basically for free, and it's bone right. Every other one would eventually burn money. Like if you did only carpentry, or only smithing, or only stonemason, or only chef, or only alchemy. They have some areas within them, or only leatherworker. They all have areas within them where you don't burn as much money. But they all burn money. Like, they all have the same issue stonemason has. And that even if there's some areas within the skill where you don't burn as much money, you will eventually hit a wall where you do burn your entire cash stack. This would be fixed whenever trading was out, because I could just dump like 5 gold on it here and there, 10 gold on it here and there, and I'll have infinite gold. The problem with that is we're probably still a good month away from that, if not longer. Like, it could be 2, 3, 4 months before we have trading. Maybe not that long. But it could be a good, like, 2 or 3 weeks, months before you have trading. Well, we'll see how the bigger dev team is. They're going to be starting on Monday, I believe, last I heard. They're currently moving office right now, and yesterday as well. I believe by Monday they should be situated. Obviously, it'll take them a while to actually, you know, do stuff. It's not like they're immediately going to push out 1 billion content. But, yeah, hopefully that'll push out trading and a few other things a little quicker. Oh, so hey, we finally got our mining level earlier. 1 down, 1 billion to go. Hey, aren't our ventures almost ready? Yeah, 17 minutes. We finally get to set up the oysters from yesterday. Remember that grind we've been doing for the last few days? It's finally over in 17 minutes. We get to set up our first ever oyster venture. The sad part is we don't even get to claim it till tomorrow. After all this, we're just setting it up. We don't actually get the first XP drop till tomorrow because it's a 24-hour venture. If it was a 12-hour one, I would actually have it set up right now. It'd be ready in like 17 minutes from now. Or technically 16 minutes from now. But because it's a 24-hour, I wanted to set it up midday, not in the middle of the night. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Even though we just got out of a wall for mining, we're basically back in a wall of mining. But it's a wall of mining that I do need. We're now in the ore wall. We kind of got done with the stone wall, but now we're in the ore wall of mining. We're just flatnium and an adathyl the whole time, pretty much. Granite is good. The main issue with granite is in the short term, I do not need it for a very long time. Compared to how much a cryonite would end up needing flatniums. The XP rate for it is way better, though. Like, way, way better. Like, actually, it's insane how much better it is when accounting for bank time. But I don't know, it's something we'll think about once we get there. It's definitely a way later from now issue. We're not getting that anytime soon. Let's see, what's currently winning the poll? Detectives in dead last, surprisingly. Chef in mining is currently tied. Interesting. Honestly, might have to do a little bit of everything. The only problem is like, it's impossible to do a little bit of everything. Because Chef has a very distinct level that we need to get up to. And Detective has a very distinct level we need to get up to. Before they can function. For Chef, that's 217. For Detective, that's 334. Mining's the only one that technically doesn't need a specific number. The problem with mining, though, is we have a finite amount that we could do. AK, however much we mine up until that point. Whereas both Chef and Detective are infinitely repeatable regardless how much we do up to that point. Like the second we get the level, we're good to go. Whereas once we get the level for Chef, we have infinite stew. And once we have the level for Detective, we have infinite raid den. Whereas no level for mining will give us infinite ore. That'd be great if it did. But it doesn't. That'd be very broken if it did, though. But it is one upside with Chef, though. Not only do we get to finish the Gather grind and finally be able to go get that for Alchemy down in the future, it's actually the closest one out of any of them. Because realistically, how long would we have to do Chef after doing the Gather grind? Like, the Gather grind's gonna be like one stream and be done, boom. Like, it's not gonna take that long. Like, one average size stream and we'd have all the leaks we would need for it, I believe. One thing I would, I guess, have to check is how many leaks would we need from 205 to 217? I can actually check that on the wiki. And assume we're 5% boosted for each one. It's time to go do math! It's math time! Let's go bring out the calculator. Unfortunately, we can't check the in-game thingy, so we have to go check over here. Let's go do some math. Alright, math time. Math time. Math. We are level, let's say 205. Let's say 40 million. Because we'll have contracts and stuff up to that point. Alright, we currently have 40 million Chef XP. And we need to get to the number of some other number. We are currently at 40 million. And we're trying to get to 69 million. Nice. So 29 million XP is how many we need. Alright, 29 mil. Our XP rate is... Our XP rate is... Right, let me go do AFK Flatniums while we're here. Oh, we'll do the AFK Flatnium method while we're doing some math. Where you just do all 8 of these, and then do all 8 of these, and then do all 8 of these again. Anyways, math time. What was I doing? Calculator. We need, what was it? 29 million. 29 mil. Go. Boom. Alright, 29 mil. What is my XP per hour from leaks? I believe it's slightly better than whatever this is. Oh yeah, never mind. I would need to know the exact XP per... XP per hour doesn't really matter that much. 3926. Okay, I would need... wait, why is he not moving? Wait, what? I'm so confused. Why did he stop and not take the other 4? Did I not click them? What happened? Anyways, math. I need to take whatever this number is and times it by 0.5 and then add that into the other thing. Where'd it go? Alright, chicken leek pie, this one. So we need 39... Oh, that's not the number I need. Alright, 3926 times 0.05. Add that into the original number we just said, 3926. That is 4,122.3 XP each. Oh, he wants the AFK thing real quick. Wait. Click. Click. Alright. So what's our number right now? We're at 4,122.3. Is how much this XP is with the 5% because it will be 5% boosted the whole time. Now we need to go divide 29 million by that number. So 29 mil divided by 4122.3. I would need 7,000 of them. Technically 7,034.9. But there will be cooking contracts in between and everything else. So long story short, we need 7,000 leaks. I have 4,000 something of them banked. So I need more than what we have, basically. But, yeah. We need about 7,000. I have 4,000 banked. Which means we need to gather about 3,000. Actually, we need to gather more than 3,000, though. Because we have to keep in mind, we're going to need to do that pie for a while. Because we got to do it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got to do it to level 259. And if we are stewing, you know, like, yeah, we'll skip some of those levels a bit, but not that many levels. 259 is when we could stop making it. So all the way up to 258, we would still need spare leaks for the dish, for the contract. So yeah, it would actually be a little bit short. I would need like 8,000 of them. I only have like 4,000 right now. I guess basically what I have to do is gather leaks while not dumping knowledge into leaks. Or, you know, not dumping knowledge into gatherer. I'd have to put it into something else. Because if I did gather the entire time while dumping into gatherer, I would gain too much XP. Because once we hit 224, we'd have to stop doing gatherer. I would actually be gaining too much XP then. Oh yeah, duh. We could always just times it by 1.05. Yeah, true. I don't know. I always like knowing the number independently. In case I ever need to do anything with it separately. So I always do that out of habit. Especially if it doesn't apply to every number and only to like X number of the number. But even if it applies to every number, I still always do that out of habit just so it's separated in case I need it for something. But yeah, you could just times it by 1.05, that is true. I always do it by 0.05 just so I could have the number in isolation. But technically you don't need that step most of the time. But thank you, Stefan's Rocket. But yeah, long story short, we need like 8,000 leak pie, 7,000 to get to the level we want. But we only have access to 4,000 something right now. So bare minimum, we'd have to go gather like another 3,500. Which is nearly doubling how many we have banked for gatherer. Which I guess that checks out because we got, what, 8 levels so far? And then we'll do another 8 levels. You know what? Actually, we can dump in together the whole time. What am I saying? If I got around 4,500 before, and I'm at 216.5, I would get about another 4,500 from doing it again, since we need more XP anyways, for each level. So yeah, we can actually still keep dumping in together the whole time. Because let's say I even only get another 4,000. I'd have 8,500 total. I need 7,000 to go get our cooking level, and then the other 1,500 is for contracts in the future. So never mind, I can still dump in the gatherer then when we do the gatherer grind. Alright, maybe that's our pivot then. If the votes keep going in that direction. Oh no, votes seem pretty even on all 3. Oh no, I really want to do all 3 of them. I was hoping the vote would give it a little bit more clarity, but it's like a lot of our votes recently. Where, honestly, it's pretty much an even spread. Because originally I was considering detective, which is why my detective level, if you've been noticing, has been slightly going up every day. I've actually been grinding a little bit in the background because it's really easy to AFK spotting thieves. Investigations are super non-AFK though, is a problem. Which are almost at the point where we have to do them in 4 more levels. But gosh, spotting thieves is so chill. I never realized how good it was. Raid dens always kind of blocked my vision on them. Because they were just so much better. Because of AFK-ness. Like if you were looking for AFK factor, raid dens were way better. But honestly, spotting thieves, really good. It's like 1 gold per hour at my level range. And you get good detective XP. And it's somewhat AFK. Not as AFK as raid dens, but, you know, decently so. The biggest issue is you have to constantly be looking at your screen. I think is the biggest issue with spotting thieves. But I don't know, it's fun little side content. You're watching something and then ever so occasionally you have to keep looking at the screen to make sure there's not a thief. And you just tap on them. Also, queuable action, as long as you don't misclick, is actually pretty good for it too. Because you can just queue up every single thief and he'll just go do all of them in a row. It's a little bit annoying with a smaller room though. Which is where we currently have to do ours. I haven't had it happen yet, but the thieves are like so close to the door. Like the place that they steal from and the place where they walk out at is like 4 tiles away. Oh, yeah, by the way, we will do some small amount of smithing this stream. Actually, I might even transition to it once we go and do our thing in a moment. Which honestly means pretty much after this inventory then. Because I want a taste of us be able to make our weapons. I'm not going to make a lot of them because I need them later. Just kind of want to see what the profit and XP rate's looking like. For Flatniums. Of course, we could check the wiki, but I want to see it like physically in the game. The difference between Cabernice and Flatnium. These are the 2 best things we can be grabbing right now for smithing XP. One of them requires gas, one of them doesn't require gas though. So Flatinium's overall better, but honestly, Cabernet is not bad. But how little I have banked, we're going to need them anyway, so it works out. But we'll bank this inventory, go grab our potions that we need for everything. And then soft transition into a little bit of smithing. I just want to kind of see what kind of profit and EXP rates we're getting for Flatinium and everything. Just so we kind of can gauge how much smithing XP we're banking. Even though we can literally just check the wiki and find out within seconds. I want to see what it feels like. I don't want hard math. I want to know how it feels. I want to see the XP drop before we go do all the math on it. And figure out what we're actually getting. Well, you must feel it first. Does it feel good? But no, the math would also math it as well. Because I'm not sure what the smithing XP per hour difference is from Cabernet compared to Flatinium. It definitely should be an improvement, but I'm not sure how much of an improvement it is. Like, there's no way Cabernet is giving better smithing XP per hour, that's for sure. But because it has gas, it has like a weird scaling on it that makes it not as bad. Like, the difference between this Flatinium and iron is gigantic. But the difference between this Cabernet and that Flatinium is probably relatively small. Like, the Flatinium is definitely definitively better, but it's not as big of a difference compared to, like, iron to Carbonese. Like, iron to Cabernet should be a bigger gap than Cabernet to Flatinium. And, of course, iron was the one below that Cabernet where we're getting that little red orangey thing. Alright, give my potions. Where are they? Thank you. Alright, we're out here. Oh, wait, I just realized. I could have... Never mind. We're not out of here. I just realized something with how we could do this. Give my Flatiniums. I forgot. I can just get the potions that we need. I need to keep room for 7% and a 5%. But yeah, duh. We're going to be ending by going to a... or not ending, you know. We're not ending the stream yet, but you know what I mean. Our route is ending at a ore location, so I could just bank them over there. I'm going to use the storage rift at the end. Probably also get our cooking contracts while we're there. They should have reset by now. Because, of course, we're still trying to get Chef up. Depending where the vote is, maybe even more so. And I might have to re-poll it tomorrow, because honestly, that poll is so close to be particularly definitive. How many are we going to need here? I think that's it. Just grab 3 and head out. Because I need enough for my 2 potions, which is exactly that many. It's actually the route I was running earlier, but then it was really weird doing only 22. This is my original plan for routing this. Was to keep both potions on us. But do 18 Flatinium into 3 Cabernets. The problem with this is it was 21 at a time rather than 22. If it was 22, it would work really well. But the fact that it's only 21 makes it really awkward. Which is why I didn't end up going with it. As it's a very weird number to juggle. As far as how many intervals you'd have to do compared to 22. But in this particular situation, it actually works out perfectly for what we want to go do. Oddly enough. I gotta remember, do not, whatever you do, do not reset the activities we're about to go to. Don't do it. Oh, wait, I just did this wrong. I just realized, wait, I should have went to Chronopolis. Because I need to go to the potion storage first. Also, I wish it was worth checking the shop. I already bought up all my 2-star gear. So unfortunately, I have no reason to go check it. It's not worth trying to upgrade these gloves to like 10 levels higher. Even though that would be an improvement, it is a waste of money for how little of an improvement it would be. I didn't mind for 1-star to 2-star, that was like 50 levels higher. But to go from 2-star to 2-star that's like 10 levels higher is super absurdly not worth it for the cost. But yeah, this is the last time we get to do these ventures for a very long time. I'm gonna be sad to let them go. Also, I'm not going to need the one for Hope Port yet. And the main reason we don't need the Hope Port one is we technically don't need it at the moment. Like, we're not actually doing it right now. Like, we're doing the activity, but we're not actually getting the XP drop from it. But yeah, let's go finally get the thing that we've been working towards. Just whatever you do, do not reset them. Oh, wait. I don't even need this one. I forgot. It's done at the beginning. Wait, I didn't even need to come here then. Wait. Wait. Oh, I almost just reset it. I forgot. It just does itself. Duh. Anyways, mine deep. Mistakes have been made. Oh, that's funny. Whoops. I forgot about that. Don't reset this one. Whoops. Now, whatever you do, do not re-ring the bell. Though, in all fairness, you can just cancel it now these days. So I guess if I accidentally did it, it wouldn't matter too much. It's mostly the detective one that would matter a lot because it's uncancelable since you get the reward up front. I do not click the button again. I was just about to. Do not click that button. We gotta go get the double Hope Port thing set up. Oh yeah, this is also gonna be our final verdict on how many explosives we have. So I've been doing this all the way from 231 mining. We have since gained 32 levels since then. And I believe we have about 1,500 something explosives in the bank. Which is not that bad at all. Yeah, let's see what our number is at right now. What are we at? Oh, almost! The final number was at 1,452. Not bad. Yeah, let's go set up our fishing venture. Oh yeah, how did I plan on getting to a thingy? Are we just gonna walk over there? Oh, time to go run our Capernice, I guess. This isn't quite how I meant to do this, but yeah. I guess we'll do it real quick. I didn't mean to do it this way, but it seems to be the way we're doing it. And the problem is I'm not gonna be able to get enough while the potion's still going. No, we're not gonna make it. Hey, Two Tap is here. No wonder I never see him. I'm like never in this room these days. And that's where he is. Let's go run 6 real quick. I want to see what this XP drop is. This is the main thing I'm looking for here. We're looking for, what is this number? Without any XP potion active. Alright, the number is, and he uses gas each time, though we have like infinite gas in here. Not literally, but this gonna last a while, that's for sure. Alright, 17.3k. Alright, good to know. 17.3k. And if we were to make an object out of it? Alright, let me go write these down just so we know. Interesting. Yeah, shield's pretty bad. You would definitely do this one then. So it's 17.3 and what's the other one? Let me put this into chat so I can see it. 17.3k and 17 or 14.5k. Alright, good to know, good to know. And that's for 4. But it has a 4 comparison on the other one, so it's going to be really easy to one-to-one compare. Alright, good to know, good to know. Let me go do my cooking thing then. And then we go do our other test. Let's see where Flatinium is. So that's 17.3k for smithing it. And then 14.5k for making it into an object. And that was the ore before our current ore. Not the one we can currently do, but the one before the one we can currently do. And now let's finally go do our fishing venture. Gosh, this fishing venture is like almost a week in progress at this point. It still is, because I don't even get to do it technically till tomorrow. And we're going to be setting them up right now, but I don't get to claim the loot from them until tomorrow. But around 1:30 tomorrow, we will finally get our dopamine hit. What do I need here? I guess I'll grab these two. I actually fished a whole extra inventory of drop the basses earlier. I guess it's something you can kind of do when you maintain your fishing level and everything. Just whenever you need more, just grab a few. I grabbed 24 of them. The reason is less than that is I needed some. This is the whole reason why I did them. Because I ran out. Alright, let's go set up our oyster venture. A week in the making. Now, if we could just get some more quests that adds more venture slots, we'll be good to go. So I can actually keep running my other ventures as well. Because the only problem with running this double fishing venture, the only downside is, yeah, we no longer get any of the ventures at all if we run double of this. So I'm really hoping we get more ventures soon. So let's make sure I actually do oyster and not something else. That'd be a huge fail. But these two should be oyster. Just double checking. Yep, oyster spot, 226. It's finally time. And of course, we've upgraded this thing like crazy. We do get another 5% upgrade at level 231 Fisher. But it's going to take us several days before we get there. Even like 2 weeks. But there they are. And now we wait 24 hours. Well, what do we do? Gosh, the dopamine hit will be high. I think it's over 1.5k XP. To put that in perspective, one level is 2.5 mil. Which means 2 days of doing this will be a fishing level. It's actually more than a fishing level. And it's not even counting the 10% bonus we'll get as well. And the fact that it has the extra 10% bonus as well. So we're stacking like 20% bonus? Technically slightly more because the 10% stacks with the other percent. But basically we have the bonus of whatever this is, which is 10%. But then we're also going to be drinking a 10% pot when we go claim these, obviously. And that 10% applies to that 10%, so we're technically getting 11% from that for like 21% extra. So we're getting about 21% extra than whatever the XP drop is, which is already like 700k, 800k, somewhere around there. So very big number. Anyways, what are we doing? What are we doing? Back to the mines. I posted those two numbers because I definitely would have forgotten them by now. They were 17.3 and 14.5k. So let's go check what the numbers are now. I'm going to do them without a potion, though of course we will be drinking a potion most of the time. But I wanted to check one set without a potion. And even though it's not as good, I believe we would mostly be making long swords out of these. The only exception for that is I am very, very tempted to do the blade. In the chance that we get a really good roll. Oh wow, we already have almost 1,000 of these? That's not too bad. The only problem is, how many can you do per hour? Because even though this looks like a lot, I think 640 you could do in 1 hour. So even though that seems like there's a lot in there, that's like 1 hour of smithing only. Yeah, honestly, we might have to ditch doing the mining smithing route. The biggest issue is we would eventually run out. Whereas for Chef and Detective, it would have a definitive one. So maybe for tomorrow, we'll have a definitive vote between the two then. Minusing mining smithing as an option. Just because I don't think we'd be able to have enough by then. Oh, I wasn't paying attention at all to the XP drop. However, wow, is this better though? Okay, I don't even think we need to know. This is like 700 XP more. Or sorry, 7,000 XP more. Technically it's like 6,000 something, but wow, that is so much better. That is so much better. So we have 21.2k, which is up at almost 7,000 compared to the other one. However, the other number I want to see is, what was the smithing drop? Because I wasn't paying attention at all. So this was 17.3k on the other thing. This doesn't require gas though, so if I had to guess, it's probably close to like 22k. It's gonna be higher, but not like absurdly high. But my guess is about 22k here. Let's see. This is a pretty high ore too. You need 267 to be able to run this. We're at 270. Let's see, what does this come out to? 17.3 is what it's competing with? Yeah, only a 20.1. That's interesting. So, it is only 2,800 better EXP to smith it. But is nearly 7,000 better EXP to make it into a product. That is very strange. Really? Does gas matter that much? Apparently. So, long story short, Cabernet is really good to smith, but not make into an object. Whereas Flatinium is better to smith and then make into an object. Interesting. At least comparatively. Like, the ratio of difference between them favors this way more for smithing it into a bar, but not necessarily making it into a product. Whereas this one favors you making it into a product way, way more than smithing it into the bar. Interesting. I assume that has to do with the gas thing. Anyways, while we're here, might as well do some smithing. It's the best smithing rate we could be getting. Might as well do some. I kind of want to try for the blade, but we get a lot less EXP per. Maybe we'll do the math on how much EXP less we get per thing. Because getting a nice 89% blue two-hand seems so good. And our EXP rate per hour would be better, but we're wasting so many bars. I just want to see if it's worth the waste of bars. I'll check it after we finish this inventory. I want to say the answer is no. I don't believe it's worth going for the better XP per hour to waste all those bars. The only thing that could maybe say yes to it is, it is technically the best weapon in the entire game for Cryonite. So that weapon is actually pretty good. And its XP rate per hour is good, it's just, it's less XP per bar is the problem. And obviously we don't have like infinite bars, otherwise that would kind of change things. Oh, wait, I can't even make the sword. Oh, that's another factor too. I forgot. I can only make the long sword. I forgot, it has a level requirement, doesn't it? I'm so used to just be able to make anything out of anything we could do. These are where our level ranges normally are. But I forgot, we can't even make it if we wanted to. We can still see its XP drop though, so we can still calculate for it. I just can't make it even if I wanted to. Oh, that's funny. Well, let's see how much the longsword is worth then. Because I can't test it for the other one, but I can see how much a longsword is for this material. Because I feel like they punish the higher levels a lot. But since we're doing this at such a low level, the 267 blade at 270, its price shouldn't really be that heavily affected. Let me go test real quick. Let's see what we get. Come on, 3-star blade. You know you want to. I'm mostly just doing this to see how much a 1-star is worth. But if we could see a 2-star and a 3-star, that'd be great. So we can see the whole range, just so we know. Plus, honestly, if I get a 3-star of this, I'm keeping it for later. I won't need it for a while. Because, gosh, we definitely don't need a level 1350 longsword anytime soon, that's for sure. Unless we're downgrading it or something. That first time bonus as well. Nice, nice. It is worth 15.2. Ah, that's not a lot, but it's not awful. How much is that per ore that we get then? What is 15.2 divided by 4? Only 3.8, really? Oddly enough, that's profit compared to selling the bar to a shop. You would never do that though. But yeah, that one's when you calculate out for rarity and everything, we're only getting, what is that per ore? We're only getting like 4 point something, 5 at the best per ore. I still don't know what the new rarity curve is though. It's hard to tell. I haven't created enough numbers, or enough, stuff since the update to really know. It seems like it's using the really annoying push to 100 rate. But then sometimes it feels like I'm getting luckier than that, but that could just be pure chance. Also, being able to craft to your level sign there is basically a lie. Because this weapon actually can't even be crafted that low. The lowest this weapon can be crafted at is whatever 267 times 5 is. Which is not that level. If I ever click that, it's actually going to say, nope, you can't do that. If I go click on this real quick. If I go say, dude, my level, nope. You would need to use a lower quality. I'm not even sure why it has the button there then. Because that material cannot go that low. Lowest it can go is like 15 levels lower, which is what? 1335 is the lowest you can make this weapon. All 1-star. Gosh. Honestly, that basically feels like this update in a nutshell. 100% all 1-star. We're 15 each. Coming out to about 4 silver per ore we get. Which, when you put it that way, seems so bad, but you have to keep in mind we're cashing in for the XP. Like, if you put into perspective when we say we're doing leek pies tomorrow for 4 silver, that sounds horrible. But when you put into consideration that the alternative is losing 3 gold per hour, it doesn't sound as bad. Like, when I say, like, oh, we're only going to be making 4 silver per leek pie tomorrow, and probably only make a few hundred per hour, that sounds awful. But then you see the alternative if you bought it from a shop, and see that you are making negative 1.3 gold an hour. And then it's like, oh, never mind. Making 4 silver each profit is not that bad then. That's basically the scenario with these right now. It's like 4 silver per ore mined and smithed and made into product sounds really, really bad, given that we're doing like a 3-step process to it. But then you look at the alternative of how negative the option is if you buy from the shop. And then it's like, oh, never mind. That's actually not horrible. Actually, how much is Platinum right now? I could check the wiki, but I want to go to the shop and see exactly. Because I've never checked it, or I did technically check it since the price hike, but I wasn't like paying too much attention to Platinum Tier 5 specifically. I think it went up about 2 point something silver each. I don't know what its previous price is, but we will know what the new price is. I'll do it after we go and smith a few more of these though. I'll finish this inventory and I'll go check. Because the leek pie that we're talking about earlier, which we're going to be making roughly... Actually, how much profit would we make per hour? How many does it say we could do per hour? We could do slightly better than whatever the wiki mentions here. Because I don't think the wiki does drop method. You do almost 400 an hour. No, 300 an hour. You could do about 300 an hour, it looks like. Which means we'd be profiting... Wait, we're profiting? 1.2 gold? Wait, what? Oh, no. Because I have to buy the other 2 supplies. Never mind, we're profiting like 3 silver each. Still, we're profiting almost a gold an hour. I never noticed that. If you grab your own leeks, you're making almost a gold an hour while actually doing the final step of chef there. It's not horrible. Especially for how many hours we gotta go do it. So we're talking probably about a dozen hours to get to 217. Probably even a little more. Actually, definitely more. Unless you don't count contract time as time. Alright, let's go smith these real quick. This will be the last batch we do for now. Then I want to go check the price of how much they actually are. Like if you were to outright buy a Platinum ore. I believe it's over 13 silver. So it really comes down to what do you want to pay each. Do you want to pay negative 13 per ore or plus 4 per ore? Is basically what it comes down to. Technically that plus 13 isn't all negative though. But if you're making only 4 each, that minus 13 is only minus 9. So what do you want, minus 9 or plus 4? It's basically the... Oh, we got it! How much is it? That's a pretty penny. Too bad it wasn't more common. That's some money there. I think I'm keeping it though for future weaponry, but that is a handful of money. It's like a 4 for gold. The weapon is worth way more than a 4 for gold though. That is not being sold for a 4 for gold, I assure you. That is just staying in the bank for now. At worst, I will combine it with some other stuff to make that into a new 4-star weapon down the line. That is not being sold for 4 for gold. One is way better than the other. A 4 for, even though that's a lot for just a random craft. A 4 for gold is worth way less than the value of this weapon. Honestly, I wouldn't even sell this for 1 gold. Wait, can we get a 2-star now? I want to see what the whole trifecta is at this point. We've seen the 3, we've seen the 1. I want to see the 2. How hard is it to get a 2-star? Watch, it's gonna give me another 3 before I get a 2. I just want to see the 2-star. I just want to see the 2. If it doesn't give me here, I'm just going to give up for now. Though I do have the other 2 in there. I'll go grab one more. How about that? We'll give it one more attempt if it doesn't do it here, since I already have it smithed. If not, we can kind of just guesstimate it's around like 50, 60-ish silver if it's like the other things. So it'd be around like 60, 70, 80 silver. That'd be way better if it just dropped it outright. Though I wouldn't complain if we got a second 3-star. That is also fine. Okay, one more attempt. If we don't get it here, I'm just not going to bother right now. Just kind of wanted to see what our profit range was. Oh, never mind. We actually have a few more. Okay, let me go run all these. And if we don't get it with any of these, we're giving up for now. If it somehow does not give us a drop in any of these. And then I want to go check how much a Platinum ore is to see the price difference between mining it and not mining it. Obviously, mining it is way better. But I want to see what the actual number difference is. Keeping in mind that we're profiting about, oh no, that's hard to math out now, though. Because these are worth so much. We also don't know what the 2-star is yet. The problem is I don't know the probability of this. This could be like a 1 in 30 or a 1 in 40 or something. So it's hard to break down as full profit. Because we don't know the exact odds of getting this weapon. I want to say around a 1 in 30 based on what I've seen from post 200 crafting. Which seems to be the same table this is using. But I haven't done enough crafting since the update to know for sure what its drop rate is. But it feels like 1 in 30-ish. Hello, Beast! Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. Please, I just want a 2-star. How hard is it to get? We just got a sea of 1-stars with a single 3-star. Where's all the 2-star at? Did they make the 3-star more common all of a sudden? No. Just getting a little unlucky here. I feel like we should have seen a 2-star by now. No, we didn't get it. Oh, that's funny, Stefan. Oh, no. Look at this. It's a sea of 1-stars with a single good drop. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I don't know. Let's say on average, counting 2-star and 3-star, let's say it brings the 15 silver up to 20 silver. So let's say there were 5 silver each in profit. Which means mining it yourself is plus 5 each. And let's see what buying it is, which is whatever this price is minus 5 is how much negative it is. Oh, this is not the ore shop. You know why I keep going there? That's where my other account needs to keep buying stuff from. Because he keeps doing the stonemason AFK. But let me see. Alright, 11.4. So it's negative 6.4 then, roughly. Negative 6.4 if you were to buy tier 5 platinum over and over and over again. I don't know, that's bad, but it's not that bad. It is bad, though. But it's not, like, horrifically so overpriced that you wouldn't do it. For tier 5, you definitely wouldn't. And this is still pushing it a bit. But it's not so bad that you wouldn't do it. It's getting close to that point. Minus 6.4 per ore. On average, roughly. Unless you get really lucky with your drops. But on average, probably around 6.4 or so. 6.4, 7.4 negative. But around 6.4. Compared to if you mine it yourself, it's positive plus 5. Compared to negative 6.4. Oh no, I still want that 2-star though. We went this far, I kind of want to keep going. We tried this many, I kind of want to keep going until we have one of each just so we know the actual pricing. Also just to give us a little bit better idea of the drop rate, because honestly I've done very little crafting since the new update. I think in total we made like 100 things since then. So I haven't really gotten a good chance to really look at the new drop rates yet. So we'll keep going until we get a 2-star. Watching us get another 3-star beforehand. Probably. Have you seen Brighter Shore Central video about the state of the game? Oh yeah, the one that you covered like a week or two ago? I made a comment on it. I was wondering what my thoughts are. I made a comment on it as well, kind of mentioning some of my thoughts, but honestly, I don't mind the current state of the game. I would still be playing this game if it had like a single-digit number of people playing still. As long as they're still developing it and everything else. Like, the player-based number doesn't really matter too much for me, as long as they're going to be supporting the game in the future. Which, with a normal dev team, I would be kind of concerned about it. But given that he has near infinite money, I'm not too concerned about it. Since he's running it more as a passion project rather than something that needs to make a profit. Like, obviously, he'd prefer making a profit than not a profit, but, this game doesn't need to make a profit for it to keep running. Which is a rather unique position compared to the average game. As this game could literally run at a negative for, like, 5 years. It pretty much has for the last decade. But it could run at a negative for, like, the next 5 years and still not shut down. Unlike other games that if they did that even for a year, they'd probably shut down. Yeah, I'm here for the long run. We mentioned it earlier. We actually had 0 people watching on stream at one point yesterday. Like, I wasn't kidding when I said we'd be here, like, this whole long run. Because we were mentioning that when we had, like, 100, 200 something people watching. Like, we'd still be around here even if we had single-digit viewers and the game was, like, triple-digit. But there was literally a point where we were power mining yesterday that YouTube said we had 0 viewers watching. Like, literally 0. Obviously, we have a bit more than that right now. It makes me think people don't want to see mining content, though. But then I see the current poll, and it's like, oh, 1/3 of people are kind of voting towards that. I think that's just the biggest issue is people are just waiting for more stuff to happen. The game's just in a really stagnant state at the moment. At this point, it's mostly just time that needs to go by. It's kind of funny because I actually played a game that I've been doing for about a decade now that was actually in a pretty similar position to where Brighter Shores is right now. Where by about 4 to 5 months after the game, like about half a year after the game came out, it was at its lowest number ever since launch. Like absurdly low. Like it looked like the game was like pretty much on route to die. But then they actually started adding like all the core features, all the core systems of the game and everything else like that. And then by a year later, like, you know, pretty much it's like almost all-time peak. And you know, Brighter Shores is kind of just going through that right now. There's in a really developmental stage where the game is definitely not completed yet. We're just trying to get to the point where it is. And they're going to keep developing until it is, and afterwards. Yeah, they're moving to a new office. They're also doubling their team. They've been moving to a new office over the last few days. And, they're currently, like, basically doubling their team. 4 new coders and 2 new, art direction people. Whatever they're doing. But yeah, they're getting there. But yeah, we're here for the super long haul. And we've still been maintaining stream every day as well. They have been getting a little bit shorter, but just because, you know, we're kind of basically playing the waiting game at this point. Still a lot we need to grind. Finally! Thank you! How much is it? 55.5. Okay. Now, the only problem is we don't know the odds of any of them. So we know that a 3-star is 233 silver. A 2-star is 55.5. And a 1-star is 15.2 or so. The problem is we don't know the rarity of 2 or 3 stars, though. I wish we did. If I had to guess, it's around a 1 in 10-ish? 8-ish? 1 in 8-ish? For a 2-star? And like a 1 in 30-ish for a, oh, we're actually capped out? Oh, no. For a, what's it called, star? Stonemason. For a 3-star. Like around 1 in 30. Hey, do that, do that. Oh no, we're out of bars. What are we gonna do? We're out! I don't think I have any banked. And we got nothing, though I still want to go and make sure we do something with this value. Go, 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 go. We're like 12 of them. Go, go, go. Gotta use up that 7% while we have it. Alright, that's gonna be all that we make for now, though. I just wanted to know what this approximate value is. The only big issue with trying to calculate it out, though, is we don't know the odds. But let's say it's a 1 in 10, and then do the other one as a 1 in 30, and then add it to every number. So to be able to figure that out, I would have to minus the base number from the thing, and then divide it by its odd. And that should be how much we're getting profit each as extra. So for this one, let's say it's 1 in 10. We got a minus 12.2 from this, and then divide it by 10. Which we can actually do in our head. It would be 43.2. Which means that's an extra 4. Wait, is that an extra 4 silver each? It's not that bad. Wait, really? Assuming it is a 1 in 10. It could be that it's not a 1 in 10, of course. Wait, is that the case? Did we do math correctly? Because that's an extra 4 silver each. Which means if you break that down for a 1 in 30 for the other blade... Let me go double check real quick. What's this number divided by 1 in 30? So first we have to subtract 12.2 from it. Or sorry, 15.2. 1 second. Oh, what's that alert? Camera. No, the camera's working fine. I'm not even using my webcam. Why am I getting a pop-up for it? Let's see. I guess the program's trying to access it, even though it's not using it for anything. What am I doing? This 0.8 minus 15.2 divided by 30, which is another 7. Wait, really? Wait. I guess they weren't kidding when they said it's actually more profit. Wait, hold up. Wait. Buying ore from the shop is profit? I either did math wrong or the odds are wrong. Because that's coming out to be more money than how much you would spend if you bought all the ore from the shop. Is that true? And the problem is we don't know their odds. I'm assuming this is a 1 in 10, and I'm assuming this is a 1 in 30. There's a chance this is not a 1 in 10 and this is not a 1 in 30. But if it is, every bar is making like 12 or silver. And they cost 11.6 from the shop. Which means on average you would actually profit from buying for them from the shop. Really? That doesn't sound true. But that's what my math mathed into. What new game are we playing next week? Oh, the new game that we're doing next week is Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's technically an old game that almost no one bothered playing because it came out on the Wii U, and the Wii U had like a 5-player player base. It was like the worst selling Nintendo console of all time. However, it did have a few good games. One of those was the Xenoblade Chronicles series. And yeah, so a couple of my friends got me addicted to it in the past. We ended up streaming the entirety of 3. I have played all of 2. And this is basically the second game that came out between 1 and 2. However, it's set completely different storyline-wise, so you don't need to have any prior knowledge of any game to understand what's going on. As the game itself just explains everything, and its lore is completely separate from the other games. So unlike 1, 2, and 3, you actually don't need to have played or seen anything from the other games to know what's going on in this one. It's kind of done as its own independent thing, separate from everything else. But I'll be playing that either Thursday or Friday. If there's no update for Brighter Shores on Thursday, we're probably starting on Thursday. If there is, we're probably starting on Friday. And I will still be doing a Brighter Shores stream every single day. This will be a really short one. Oh, in all fairness, I feel like all of our Brighter Shores streams lately have been kind of shorter. For the most part. This is like a real big power grind that we're going for. There we go with the maths again. I don't know, did we mess up that math too much? Because if my math mathed correctly, the people who said that it looks like you're getting more profit were right. Because I haven't mathed the math since the most recent changes. But from what I can tell, at least for tier 5 Platinums, at that level range, you are on average, if you sell everything, including your 3 stars though, which means you would have to part with your 3 stars. But if you were to sell everything, you would make more money than the ore costs if you bought them from the shop. Like, obviously, you make even more if you mine it. But from what I can tell, yeah, buying from their shop is actually still profit. If you get really unlucky, maybe you'll be a little bit negative. But there's actually potential that you'll be in the green. And the main reason for that is because 4 stars sell for so much. I mean, sorry, 3 stars, I mean. Like, the profit margin on 3 stars is so high when you actually do get a drop. But it could be that I did the math wrong, or the drop rates are not what we did, though. Because I assumed the drop rate was 1 in 10 for a 2-star and 1 in 30 for a 3-star. There's a chance both a 2-star and a 3-star are rarer than that. But I haven't done it enough to really know for sure in the new system. Because I think by this point we crafted about 100 items, which is nowhere near enough data. We'd have to do like over 1,000. But some people were mentioning that earlier. Like someone in chat was asking, I think the rank 2 Minds of Matubin guy. And he did say it looks like it's overall slightly higher. And based on our math, yes, it is. Based on the math that we did in the beta, the little bit that we did, it was around 30 to 60% higher. And after the math that we just did, honestly, I think it still is about that much higher. Like around 30% or so. It's just all of your value is in the high rarity drops now. Like your low rarity drop value has been nerfed, but whenever you get something good, it's been buffed. So you're going to go on really big dry streaks where you lose money and then just get like a huge profit out of nowhere. The only big issue with the calculation, though, is it does assume you're selling 3 stars, and generally you're going to be using 3 stars. You're almost never going to be selling them, unless player trading is out. But you know what I mean. Like, you're not going to, generally speaking, you're not going to craft a 3-star weapon and then immediately sell it to the armor maker, or, you know, to the what do you call them? The quartermaster. Like, you're generally not going to go craft something, get a 3-star, and then sell it to quartermaster. Normally, you're crafting a 3-star so you can use it, or when trading comes out, you're crafting a 3-star so you can sell it to another player. You should pretty much never craft a 3-star and then immediately sell it to the quartermaster. It's really bad value. Like, the number looks nice, but it's not as nice as what you could be getting otherwise, as far as the value of using it or the value of selling it to someone else who needs it. Because you have to keep in mind, the same level weapon has the same stats as if you get it from a drop. Like, if you got that weapon that we just crafted as a drop, it'd be worth over 1 gold. However, it would have the same stats as what we crafted. So, a drop one, you know, you sell it for 1 gold, boom, you're good to go. Actually, you know what would be price that? No, it would be higher than that. Because we have a bow right here, kind of as an example. This bow is like 500 levels lower than what we crafted. And it's 355. So if you account for another 500 levels, that's at least like 700 silver, if not higher. But that's a monster drop. That's not a crafted one. The crafted one at that higher level range is a, what we saw, 233. Now work out the profit that you make from epics. That's what we did. Because I was doing all the math for it, calculating it up, and it was around 12 by the end. Which I think was slightly higher than that, because what did we do for the other one? What did we end up verdicting on the other thing? Yeah, it was 3.8 for the other one. So it was 7.2. Let me see. 7.28 for just the epic value. Plus 3.8 from the 2-star value. Plus 3 point... Oh, no, the 3.8 was from the base value of the other one. Wait. What was the... Oh, did I sell it already? Please tell me I didn't sell it. What's this divided by 10? This is assuming it's a 1 in 10. So I'd have to minus it by 15.2 and then divide it by 10. It's not in my calculator because I just did it in my head. Because I have to minus this number from it and then divide it by 10-ish. That's assuming its drop rate is about 1 in 10, though. Which it might be rarer than that. But if it is a 1 in 10, it is... I already forgot what number that was. 15.2... 40.2... Let's just say 40. So 10... So yeah, 4. So that'd be an extra 4. Yeah. So it looks like you're making... If you sell the 3-star to the quartermaster... Which are really huge if, because you generally shouldn't be doing that. But if you sell the 3-star to the quartermaster for its base value, you would be making 15 silver per, roughly, give or take a little bit. You'd be making 15 silver per Platinum ore. Like every single one of these, 15 silver, 15 silver, 15 silver. But they only cost 11.6 from the shop. Meaning you're actually profiting 3.4 each. On average. That does assume you sell every 3-star and not keep every 3-star though. Which is something you generally don't do. But could if you really wanted to get profit from him. Oh, you mean doing an epic accounting for all 3? The problem with that is I don't have a really good smithing component method until we get to 233. I don't have a good way of doing stonemason again for a while. Bone rate we're good for a while, like forever. Well, I mean, not forever. We need gathering level to tier 5 bone spike and woodcutting to tier 5, everything. But the biggest issue right now is I have very, very, very little material banked. Also, I'm doing this like so bad right now. I'm just doing the AFK method. We're doing max AFK for this, right? Just while we're talking and trying to check the thing. But anyways, what was I saying? Something about something. Oh, yeah. The biggest issue with me making 4 stars right now, aside from I would only ever want to make it as actual gear that we need, and I currently already have a good best in slot 1 at like 2 levels lower range. But the main reason I... where am I going with this? But yeah, the main reason I don't want to do it at the moment is my stonemason component. I basically need 233 stonemason before I can start doing it again. As I have very, very little stonemason material left. And trying to get it on a new curve would basically destroy every stack I have. No, I guess we could do the math and see how much it's worth, though. Who knows? Maybe it's worth buying. Imagine training stonemason by actually buying ore. Oh no, should I go check it? Are we about to go waste all of our money? Yeah, I think we are for science. I think I'm about to go burn my cash stack for science. Because what's the best thing I can currently make right now? I believe it is basalt. So I might just go buy some tier 5 basalt and see what some of the math comes out to. I'm going to do it. We're going to burn some money. If we're testing a bunch of stuff with crafting, we might as well keep going. We're down the rabbit hole. We might as well go all the way down. But, yeah, let's go check the profit for it. Because one of the main reasons I can't train smithing right now is I have nothing banked that does it, and it's not worth mining it right now. I'm at a level range where it simply is just not worth mining it. But, you know what is worth, potentially, is under the new system, maybe it is worth buying it, getting everything, and selling everything that isn't a 3-star. We would still lose some money, but we'd get a lot of 3-star upgrade material for the future. Like, a lot. But let me go check. We'll give it a shot, see what happens. Let's go do a bunch of math. Let's see, what do we need? So, basalt. They are 8 each. Honestly, kind of reasonable. Not as high as I thought they would be. Is there nothing higher I could be doing right now? I don't think so. What's after basalt? It goes flint, basalt, then andesite, right? But you can't do andesite till 233. So yeah, this is the highest I can do. I think. Yeah, about to find out. Yeah, let's do 1 inventory basalt. I'm not really going to calculate out for EXP rate because it's the best we could be doing right now, so it doesn't really matter what the EXP rate is necessarily. In the sense that we can't be doing anything better right now, so there's not really a different choice. Like, it's not like we'd switch to flint because it's like better ratio or something. Like, its EXP rate is irrelevant in the sense that we'd have to do basalt regardless if we were doing this right now. The only exception to that is skipping Deathstone. But we're not even anywhere near Deathstone right now. Also, I do get to get like 1,500 free Deathstone, by the way. Remember when we were doing all that mining venture for so long and we have like 1,500 that we showed earlier? That's all tier 5 Deathstone for later. Oh, what was that? A 13k drop? That's not too bad. With a 5% extra. Though regardless of what that is, we'd have to be doing it because that's the highest we could do at this level range. You should be at 500 bone ray in about a month or 2? Nice, huge congrats. Yeah, that's something I was mentioning earlier. I still really need to get my alts to get double venture as well as get them to the point where they're doing a post 200. So I can start getting them close to 500 stonemason and 500 bone rate. The 500 stonemason guy is doing so bad though. He's a little bit up right now because we're at an AFK that actually makes money. But in like 2 more activities, it's going to be so negative that unless trading comes out in the next month, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I was actually going to legitimately run out of money. I will not be able to afford to do the, his AFK anymore, like that bench AFK. Like, even the one I was doing last night, I need to stop doing. I just did it for one night, just to get a little bit of XP into it. But it cost me, like, it was minus 30 per hour for stonemason. Like, for smithing, that doesn't matter as much because they all lose money. But for stonemason, minus 30 per hour at, like, 200-ish range, that is so bad. Given how much you would normally need to do it. Alright, let's see. So these cost exactly 8 each, so they're really easy to calculate out what their value is. Because we know exactly how much we lost. Oh! 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 Oh, I didn't even put this into factoration. Normally what I would do is make these. But if you remember a certain grind we did recently, we have access to additional profit that we wouldn't have had before. You know what? For now, I'm just going to do the ring because the math will be so much easier to do. But I need to go consider these other two. I didn't even think about that to just now. That's an interesting angle. I believe one uses hickory pole and the other one uses pine pole. I think the one to the left uses pine pole and the other one uses hickory. Or they both use hickory, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure the left one was pine and the right one was hickory. For now, because it's easier to do math, I will be doing this one. Because we're spending exactly 32 silver each. Oh wait, I just realized something funny with the math I did earlier. Wait. It is super negative. Wait, I was doing it based on per resource, but yeah, every single one requires 4. Wait, never mind. It is super red. Wait. Did I really make that mistake earlier? That's kind of funny. Did I? Oh no. Wait. Now I'm confused. 15.08. Oh no, I need to relook on the math at the other one. Because yeah, it's not actually profit then. You're still burning money. When I was on the other Platinum, because I forgot. You're using 4 each time, not 1. Because you had the base value of that. So yeah, you're still losing half your money when doing the Platinums then, at their current price. You're still losing half your money. Because yeah, duh, you have to calculate out for 4, not 1. Because you have the base value of the 15.2. Which covers like 1 and a part of 1. But then you're getting like the extra 11 point something from all the rarity stuff. But even after both of those, that only covers about 60% of your costs. So you're still losing like 40% of your money. Because right now it's costing us 32 each. And we're getting 11.8 back. But it's not counting every rarity drop though. But no, the other one might actually be worth it. I didn't think about that earlier. Utilizing some of our carpentry poles we have that we don't really need. Because they're already banked and they're not really doing that much. But no, that's an angle we might need to go look at. The one-handed melee workbench. Angle. Also, I would love if you gave us any higher rarity item. Okay, I have no clue which pole this uses, so I'm just gonna grab both. Hopefully it's not hickory. I know the bigger one is definitely hickory. I just want to see if the other one is pine. Because they got a lot more pines. Please say you use pine. You don't say which one you use. Oh no, it uses hickory. No, they both use hickory. No. What's the other one I can't even make yet? They both use hickory. That's a problem. I have like no hickories banked. It's the current grind we gotta do for woodcutting carpenter. Sad. But no, based on our math that we did earlier then, if you buy them from the shop, you're still burning about 40%. You're burning about 40% of your cash stack if you sell everything. Interesting. This weapon is worth less. I guess because it used only 3 material instead of 4. Interesting. That's another factor too. They're not all the same in that regard. Welcome to the No Polls Banked Club. I actually did bank quite a few of them. Not all of them, but definitely a good little chunk of them. I don't think it's worth buying the Basalt then. I'll stick with just dumping knowledge into it for now. I'll just do my andestites once we get there. This doesn't seem worth it. What on earth do you use pine pole on again? I gotta double check something. What on earth is pine pole used for? Particularly for stonemason. It is used for... Oh, it is only used for the yellow two-hand weapon. Like the best in slot yellow throwy weapon for Hammer Mage. Like it's used for 2 things for Crown. I already knew about those 2 though. But yeah, Hammer Mage only uses it for best in slot yellow throwy weapon. You know what? Let me go sell all these. It is time. Alright, should I redo the math on the poles then? Let me go save one of them and just kind of see. Or one of each. In case we want to reference the math later. Because what did we do wrong in the math? We forgot to account that it uses 4. So let me go just redo the math real quick because this is bothering me. Alright. So every single one is 15.26. I'm going to get exact number. 15.26 is how much you bare minimum make. 15.26. Let's say 1 in 10 for this is the following. This is minus 15.26 because you got to minus it from its current value. Wait, 15.2. Why is it not? Why is calculator not calculating? 15.26. Not what I wanted. No. 15.26. Just do that. Okay, we got 15.26. Check. Okay. Now we take 55.46 subtracted by the other number, 15.26. That is 40.2. Okay, we got that number. Now we do this number. 233.88 minus 15.26. Alright, there we go. We have gotten all of the values. So now, 15.26 divided by 4. 15.26 divided by 4. So one of our 3 numbers per each is 3.8. Check. So we're making 3.8 per that resource there, just in its base value. So regardless, worst case scenario, we get back 3.8 per Flatinium we do. The ones that cost 11.6. Bare minimum, you get 3.8 back. Bare minimum. Technically it's 3.815, but 3.8. Alright, next. The 40.2. Let's say it's 1 in 10 because we don't know its exact drop rate. So we have to take 4.02 and divide that by 4. So we already know what it is. That's basically 1. Alright, so we can add 1 to that then. 1. So now we're up to 4.8. And now let's say this 3 star is a 1 in 30. So we have a 218.62, which we have to divide by 30, and then divide by 4. 30 to get the value per weapon, or, you know, per thing crafted. And then divided by 4 to get it to per resource. Because the final divide by 4 part is what I didn't do last time. So 218.62 divided by a rough estimate of a 1 in 30 chance. That's not a 3. 1 in 30 chance, there we go, is a 7.28, but then that needs to be divided by 4. It becomes a 1.82. So we now add that number to the other number we just had, which is 4.815 plus whatever number we just had, which is about a 1.82. And the final verdict is every Platinum, on average, assuming a 1 in 10 and a 1 in 30, and assuming that you sell the 3 stars and not keep them or do anything with them, or sell them in the player market, is 6.6. Technically 6.635. Which means every Platinum we mine is technically worth that much value. Which means you're losing half your money. So now we can figure out how much we're losing as well. So on average, roughly, give or take a little bit because of odds. Also keep in mind, it does go slightly up if you have a higher level, but only slightly. It doesn't scale that much off the new level system. But that means each one of these, you're on average only making 6.64. But they cost 11.4. So what does that come out to? Do we do this as a percent? Wait, how would you do it as a percent? You would have to divide the other way around. Right? You would have to divide that number by this number. So this number divided by 11.4, I believe? Which means you're losing 58% of your money. So we're about right when we said 60% earlier. See, I said I was right. When I was guesstimating it earlier, what I just said, it's going to be about 60%. It's 58%, You lose 58.2% of your money if you go and make it on average. If you were to buy that tier 5 Platinum compared to mining it. Your burn rate would be 58.2% of your cash stack, the duration that you do it for. So you're expected to lose slightly more than half your money for whatever you put into it. Unless you get really lucky. Or if player trading comes out and they sell for a lot more. Because you're generally going to be able to sell 3 stars for way more down the line. But that's not something you can do at the moment. Alright, there we go. Anyways, while we're here, let's go do our cooking contract. We may not do it, but at least go grab it real quick. But that's the final verdict. It's roughly 58% of your cash stack that you're losing while you're doing it. Or, you know, all the money that you put in, you're losing 58% of it. Honestly, that's still not horrific. But it's still better to mine it. Because then you don't lose any money. Oh, which one of these are like the most annoying ever? Because I'm just going to get rid of them real quick for the good ones. And just make a really big scrap merchant run later. I guess we get rid of the 10 for Southwall. Just so we don't have to go to Southwall. Because that makes it so we don't have to go to Southwall at all anymore. Perfect. Anyways, we're out here. We'll do them later. Alright, what's the vote currently on? It is an even split across all 3. Wonderful. Honestly, I might just put it into a random generator at this point. Where are those websites where you have like a random wheel and it just randomly does it? I haven't used one of those, I think, like ever. But I almost just need it right now, and whatever one it lands on might just be what we do. Oh no, honestly, I'm feeling detective grind though. Chef's pretty chill, but I'm concerned with how non-AFK it'll be to bank. Is my biggest concern with it. Because you'd have to go all the way from over there, buy everything, then come all the way over here, click on that, click on that. Like, everything in this room's fine. It's having to walk all the way over there to buy more stew is the problem. And pre-buying is a waste of efficiency. I guess for AFK time it'd be fine, but then every single day we'd have to do it for hours. Like, we'd literally have to go and do for like 2 hours straight just buying, and nothing else but buying. Oh no. But yeah, let me go show the other method. I'm not sure if we showed this earlier. But, well, it's not really a method. It's just doing the activity. But it's something I don't think we've ever actually done on stream other than when we were, like, day 1 in Chronopolis, where you're, like, forced to have to do it. But, there's a fun little method I was doing earlier, which we can actually combine with Platinum, which is likely what I'll be doing off stream today. So, I might as well do some on stream. Because I don't think I've actually done it yet on stream. It's, this method, where we grab a bunch of Chronopolis XP pots, which I actually need more of. As well as our stack of mines and Matubin pots. Not a lot of them, just a couple. Alright, let me go buy Chronopolis real quick. Chronopolis! Alright, give me some of those, some of these. Boom, 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 boom. There we go. Grab just a few, not too many, just a couple. Alright. But yeah, it's right next to a teleport too, which is really nice. Always go over here, go click on a couple of them. I believe this has the high spawn rate too. I was checking the wiki on some rates. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. While the EXP rates and profit rates are pretty static across the line, for whatever reason, this one has a higher concentration of thieves that show up. Even though its ratios are about the same as everything else, it has the highest population overall. If the wiki numbers are correct. No, I'm not sure why. But we're getting about 20k XP each, 6.6 silver or so per each. According to the wiki, you can catch about 150-ish of them per hour, roughly. Which is, what? Like almost a gold. It's about a gold per hour. And basically, I keep doing this until we get a full meter. And then I go to Mines of Matubin and go do Mines of Matubin stuff. Which in this case would be the Flatinium ore. I would do like one inventory of Flatinium while using a boost potion the entire time. While using up our double knowledge point into Stonemason. So we could finally start doing Stonemason again at some point. But I think for every single potion we can catch about 6 or 8 thieves. So we're getting a bit unlucky. That's the only thing I hate about this method is sometimes you go on a dry streak. Which is why it's good for an AFK activity, but we actually can see that this guy's going to go for it right now. Kind of tell based on the arch that they're going to be doing. If they're going to go for it or not. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell if they're going for this spot. But if they're going for that spot, it's really obvious, like way in advance they're going for that spot. And we get about 3 knowledge percent for each one of them as well. Not insanely good for knowledge, but it's also not horrible for knowledge. It's better than raid dens at this level range, that's for sure, after the raid den nerf. I can't believe how much they've nerfed raid dens. It's one of the reasons I kind of want to get it up a little bit, just to kind of see like how raid dens will be after that. Like off stream today, I kind of want to do this until I get to 315. So that maybe tomorrow we start running some investigations. Because tomorrow, if we don't get a new quest, which we're probably not, is either going to be gather or grind, or it's either going to be gather to 224 or detective to 315. It's 2 grinds I want to get done this weekend, because today's Friday, right? Yeah. So over the next 2 days, I'm not sure which we'll do on which day. But I want to get 224 gather, as well as all the leaks we need to get to 217 chef. As well as 315 detective, so that we can go off of this method. So that we can go and start doing the actual active training method, which is investigations at 315. The only big issue with those 2 differences is, for this, I would have to go from 315 to 344, which is nearly 30 levels, 29 levels. The XP rate's pretty good, but gosh, that is still 30 levels pretty much. But for Chef, after we do the Gatherer grind, which will only take 1 day, we only have to do Chef for, like, what? 13 levels? Not even? 12 and a half? Like, it is so few how many we have to end up doing. Compared to how long the detective grind is. So I'm not sure yet. I do want to have both of them primed and ready this weekend. Also, aren't these the exact same model? No, I guess she has a thing on her back. A purse. They got a purse difference. Being thieved by her twin. But it's what I was doing the other night. And probably will tonight as well, until we get to 315 off stream. So we can save the investigations for on stream. I just want to get here until we get a knowledge point at this point. But normally I would wait until I have double knowledge point and then teleport to Mines of Matubin. Then go do a whole inventory of smithing. While, you know, of course using the 7% pot on the Stonemason. Because that's one really nice thing about the Flatinium ore as well, getting some of them. Is it has really good synergy into this. And honestly, I'd probably do the same thing when we do investigations for Chronopolis. And then again, it would be a little bit annoying for those though, because we'd end up wasting some of our value. For here, we don't really waste that much. Because even if we over-encumber, we're over-encumbering by like, what, 1%? Which is like basically nothing. Whereas if we over-encumber in the other area, we can over-encumber by like 8, 9% or something. It's way too much. So I'm not sure how we're going to split up our knowledge when we do that. I just know we don't need any inventory, so that does allow some multi-skilling that wouldn't otherwise be accessible for some other skills. As aside from the potions in our inventory, we don't need anything while doing anything for detective. Not counting forensics AFK. But not counting forensics AFK, there is not a single thing you have to do for detective that requires any inventory space. Which has some interesting implications. Most notably, it's meant to be trained with merchant, because, you know, it also required, or, you know, it would fill up your inventory space that way. I'm just not a big fan of doing detective merchant. We've tried it a couple different times in a couple different ways. It just feels really clunky because you always have to prioritize one more than the other. As long as you don't mind doing that, it's fine. But it's really hard to get an even spread on both. Like if you're doing it, you're pretty wide farming at that point. Yeah, this will be the last potion we use for now. But we will be back tonight. By the time we start tomorrow, it might be 3:15 detective already. Because it's probably my main active AFK I plan to do tonight. Till 3:15. Going back and doing our flatniums every single time when we get a full meter, double meter. Which will also give us a smithing level. And a stonemason level or two. Oh, so I'm definitely not doing the stonemason AFK tonight, by the way. I think we're going to do like the alchemy AFK or something. I did it last night just to try it. It is 100% not worth it. Honestly, I would sooner go do the bone right AFK or something right now. It is so bad value to do stonemason one. We're just burning too much money at this level range. Like 30 silver an hour doesn't sound like much. But compared to profiting like 10 silver an hour, it's a pretty big difference. Like negative 30 compared to plus 10 per hour. Two very different numbers. But yeah, spotting thieves is something I never really gave a fair chance back when raid dens were good. Because raid dens were always just better. I know, it's not that bad. It's the best detective XP you can get this level range, and it's like 1 gold an hour, roughly. It's not that bad. Also, where a lot of this cash came from. I think we're at like 3 yesterday. Alright, one more thief and we're out here. Can we get a good chain reaction? Okay, we're all the good chains. Normally we get like a 3 or 4 or 5 chain or something. I think our best chain so far has been like 2 people. I haven't been able to like queue them up. We've gotten such bad chains there. You're probably our last person. If someone wants to steal in the next few seconds. Up, 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 up. Oh, no, we're out of here. Actually, where are we heading to, though? Oh, he's about to steal. This always happens to me. They always want to come exactly when I want to leave. Honestly, I should just pretend to leave every single time, and then 5 thieves will show up every time. That's the way that you really get thieves to show up. Pretend you're going to leave, and then every single thief just shows up, delaying your leave by like an entire minute. This happens every time. Alright, now we can leave. Alright, what did I come back here for? Oh no, I want to grind a bunch of stuff, but I don't know what I want to focus on right now. I think it's my problem. I'm indecisive on what I want to focus on. And the poll's not helping because the poll is perfectly even on every single one as well. So I just don't really know what I want to grind right now. Like, I know everything we need to grind. I'm just not sure which ones I want to prioritize over the others. Alright, let me go get a nice big, what are we going for right now? I guess we're going for a leek pie. Annie, scrap, century, scrap. Yeah, we could do it all. Alright, we could do a century scrap run. Just double checking that we can. Let's go get our chef XP up. Just gonna keep darting around from a billion different things. Got a little bit of everything we need up. At this point, I might as well do some of the gathering we need to go do. Because we did the math earlier, we need about 7,000 leek pie. Not counting spears. But just to reach our level, we need 7,000. We are currently at 4... Oh, no, we're not even at 4,000. We're only at 3,225 left. Oh, no. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, maybe I don't use knowledge when I do it. Okay. Wait, that's a lot less than I thought I had. I thought I had 4,000 something, not 3,000 something. Oh, okay. So when I go back to doing Gatherer, I have to not dump knowledge onto Gatherer. I'm not sure what we dump it on, but it has to be not Gatherer. Because if I do, we're only going to get about 3,500 more. Which just the XP we need is going to be less than that. Or, you know, we're going to need more than that, I mean. And it's not even counting any spears for, like, the 1,000, 2,000 we're going to need down the line. Ah, yeah, it's not going to be enough. Because realistically, we're going to need, like, 8,000 to 9,000. If we only get 4,000 more for 7,000 something total, we're still, like, 1,000 something short for later down the line. Anyways, I'm going to do what contracts we have now. What are we even doing right now? It's a little Lucy, scrap merchant into century. Which means you, and you. Can it all fit in one inventory? 7, 7, 14, 21. Yeah, it's fine. I can fit all that. The bigger issue is fitting in this inventory. Alright, let's see. I go drop this, drop this. Give me the 8, 8, 8. Grab 8 of you. That's the same material. Grab 8 of you. Grab 8 of you. Then we got to get a 666. Sorry, a 555. I just want to sell a few. We're going to need to anyways. Honestly, I might as well. Because I need, what, 13? Yeah, we need 13 of them. I could just sell the spears. It's not that big a deal. I need the XP down the line anyways. Might as well get it now. I'm still gonna have to buy a lot of that material too. We're actually really short on it right now. We have like a few hundred banked. And we need 7,000. Wow, is that just an hour of running to the shop or something? I never calculated out how many things you could buy from the shop per hour. But I'm pretty sure you can only do like, what, 2 trips per minute? Like maybe 2.5. Let's say it's 2 trips per minute. How much does that come out to? That's 48 times 60, roughly. Might be a little higher than that. Wow. I would have to run to the bank. Okay, maybe we're not doing the cooking thing. I didn't put that into consideration. We have to walk to the bank for like 5 hours straight. Gaining 0 XP the entire time. That sounds insufferable. Anyways, we're going down the detective route. What? Because we're definitely not going to have enough time to go get the mining done. Even if we mined, like, all the way up until that point. So I think the hard detective pivot's going to be coming then. Like, I'm still going to be doing the chef grind. Just going to be on a longer period of time so we can keep getting it up through contracts mostly. But yeah, no wonder why Miles ES took so long doing that. I felt like it was taking them a few days. But no wonder why. They had to spend almost like an entire day just buying stuff from the shop. That's like 5 to 6 hours of just buying the base supplies you need. Not even counting gathering the leeks and making them and everything. What are we doing? Oh yeah, the lobster. Alright, now we can go use the 5% pot. Gonna grab both just so they don't T-spawn. I don't think they're going to, but you never know. And then the only other thing I need for this run is nothing? No, nothing. This is everything. I still need other things, but they're not for this run. They will be for later. But now this run's completely situated. And then we grab all the pies and go do them then. Oddly enough, the lobster are more XP per pie than a pie. The problem is they take more steps. Like a lot more steps and a lot more ingredients. So they're actually worse XP per hour. Even though the actual XP drop is about the same or better, or somewhere around there. But they require way more steps of buying and way more steps of producing. So their XP rate per hour is actually worse. Oh, so I just realized, how am I going to be able to go? I forgot, I got to sell a couple of these. I was like, wait, where's my inventory going? How am I supposed to bring that with me? But no, we can. The reason being that not all these pies are needed for what we're doing right now. But yeah, look at that. We're actually getting more XP per lobster. That's kind of funny. The reason why the lobster isn't worth doing, though, well, it is when at the level range that you get it. But it's not worth doing once you have the leek pie if you have all the ingredients for it. As gathering them is almost like 0 time when you go and put them into the bank. Compared to if you were to buy them anyways. And you only need 2 components bought from the shop compared to 4. Or if you get the lobster from your venture, you only need 3. But it requires pretty much twice as many ingredients that are like forced to have to be bought. Alright, let me not sell the wrong number here. We have to sell until we have 13 remaining. Unless I somehow did math really wrong. But we gotta sell down to 13. And now we can grab the potion. And just for good luck, just since we're down there anyways, let me go do the one hairdresser thing real quick. A little bit out of our way, but I can't not do it for one single turn in. And that'll kill everything except the thief, that's fine. I'm not gonna pot up for the hairdresser though. It's just so little, I gotta go do it real quick. I only wanted one single fish. But we won't use the 10% until we get on Little Lucy. Oh, we can dump this into Forager as well. Hey, gotta get that Forager XP in. We'll get there in no time. At some point, we will have 209 Forager, I assure you. It might take another few weeks. But we will somehow scrap together the level 209 Forager Seagull. So we can actually go make our 10% XP pots for this chapter. Now, what do we even need for our first turn in? It's pie, then pie crab. Alright, pie, then pie crab. So pie, then both, basically. Alright, drink this. Use that on Forager. Use pie on you. Hey, Forager level, 2 to go. Though at the rate that we're getting it up, it is going to take weeks. But hey, we'll get there. It might take a while, but we will get there in the end. You're hoping woodcutting and carpentry materials will be used in Builder next episode? From what we currently know, nothing in woodcutting or carpenter is going to be used for Builder. Bonewright will be. Or more so, Builder is used in Bonewright, or Delver is used for Bonewright more so. But based on what we currently know, not a single carpentry component is used for anything other than making weapons and shields. However, Delver does feed into Bonewright. But Carpenter does not feed into Builder. At least based on what we currently know. But from what we can tell, most builder supplies are sourced from merchants, Bonewright, and Delver. Doesn't seem like it's sourced from anything else from what we can tell currently. Similar to how you won't need Stonemason most likely for Builder. You'll probably need it for Armor Maker. But you shouldn't need Stonemason for Builder for the same reason you won't need Carpenter for Builder. Yeah, Miles ES and Mighty are over here doing potions, nice. We'll join them if we could ever get our AFK activity done. They'll be doing that some tonight. Alright, what are we looking for? What am I even doing right now? We got too many grinds I need to do, and I don't know which one I want to focus on. Back to the mines! Honestly, I think I might just go back to the mines. It is the title, after all. Might as well get more of it in. Because if I am going to be doing the AFK crime den thing later tonight, just off stream after dinner, and try getting to 315, every single time I use a 7% pot, I come to Mines of Bitumen and go run a bunch of ore. And before I was doing that on iron, but now we can upgrade to platinum, which is nice. So I want to make sure we have enough banked for that, so when we do that, we don't run out. It's honestly going to be a reoccurring theme with this material, is we get more so we don't run out of how many we have in the bank. Or the main goal of how many we get is to make sure we don't hit 0. Essentially. I can't wait till we get tier 6 in this material. It's going to feel really weird once we finally get to a tier 6 material. In the sense that once we get to it, we're done. Like, we have hit the pinnacle of what you can ever get for that material ever. Like, maybe way down the line, there'll be better stuff. But I can't really see anything being better than tier 6 anytime even remotely soon. Oh, so we learned earlier, too, we should actually be saving over Carbonice, or Cabernice, but still smithing it. As it's actually a really good EXP ratio. It is not as good for making product out of it. But the difference between how much we get for smithing this into a bar and how much we get for doing the tier below, it's only like a 10% difference. Crafting-wise, it's close to like a 30% difference or something. Like almost 40 or 50%. No, not that high. It was like, it was around the 30%. It was like a 1/3 increase. But when actually making it into a bar, it's only about a 10% increase. Cabernice for bars is actually pretty good. So we can save that material down the line for whenever we need a crafted item. Ah, Greybeard isn't here anymore, though. He's mining here earlier. Now he's banking his Cabernice or something. Let's see, is he still on? He's left us, oh no! We got PM Twisty, Tryhard, Miles, Mightiest, and Krydak on right now. Oh, did that guy just go the wrong way? Ah, that's funny. Like what he did. I'm not sure if I've ever made that mistake, even in early game. I think maybe once we have. Like really early on, like when you're first learning the map. I wonder if we ever will get a bridge across this place or not. Because that's a pretty notorious noob trap right there. Like when you first start out the game, not realizing you can't go there. Because they did say in the past that Builder might be able to build shortcuts in other areas. It's likely to be very similar to his agility skill back in the day. At least in that regard. It's likely to have a lot of other functionality, though, beyond that. But it might be used as a shortcut mechanic for quite a few chapters. And this is definitely a chapter where I feel like you would build a bridge or two. Because, gosh, does this area need one. It need one that connects this room to that room. Or, you know, from here to here or here to here or somewhere's in here. But the most important one that is needed is right over here. So you can go from, or sorry, right over here. So you can go from Cabernice to this storage rift. To make Cabernice not the worst thing in the entire world to bank. Because the only thing worse than it is Sage, which is used for the 7% and 10% pot for Hope Fars. But Sage Watch would be a lot better if that boss is ever made repeatable. As you can always just grab a full inventory after killing the boss or however you want to bank afterwards or whatever. Because if this is eventually an infinitely repeatable boss down the line, then you're only like one room away from getting Sage, which makes Sage a lot more accessible to grab en masse. Because even though you had to go far away for it, you went there mostly for the boss, not for the Sage. And just grab a few free Sage on your way up. And the thing that fixes Cabernice is a bridge here. Like anywhere here. It doesn't matter where it is in this room. Ideally like here or further left, somewhere's here. Like either here or here. But it needs one so badly. Because that fixes Cabernice, which is the second furthest from a bank, and the thing that fixes Sage, which is the furthest from a bank, is making this an infinitely repeatable boss of some kind. That way, right before you're done with the boss, you get a full inventory of Sage or whatever you still have inventory space for, depending on how the loot system works. It wouldn't be that much Sage, but you'd be getting more than none. So I think at this point we'll go until we get 264 mining. Feels like a good stopping point. Because our next milestone is way too far away to bother making a target at any time soon. If we did a 12-hour stream starting midday, twice, we still would not be done. If we do two 12-hour streams, we would still not have it. Assuming we don't dump any knowledge into mining. If we do, that's a different story. But if we were to go from 263.5 to 278 without dumping any knowledge into mining, I'm pretty sure it would take 2 full day streams of nothing but mining to get there. We're definitely pacing it way further than that. As I do not plan to do that much mining. At least not in the short term. I don't know, we'll see. That's definitely not my goal for the next 2 days, though. Is I really want to get our gather to where it needs to be. I want to get our detective to where it needs to be. I do want to keep poking this mining grind. Just so we can go make that 20-ish hour grind into, you know, a bunch of smaller little mini grinds like today. Like, pace ourselves a little. Because I would definitely burn out if we were to do, like, 20-something hours straight of mining. And then the next day, it's like, oh, we got to do like 30-something hours. That's not even how much time is in a day. Is there anything scary about post-200 grinds? It's like, oh, you just got done with your easy 30-hour grind? Here's a 50-hour grind. I'm still really curious to see how they incorporate multi-skilling with bossing. We saw how that worked in Chapter 2, where they combined Carpenter with gaining combat XP from a boss. So once that is repeatable and whatever other ones they end up adding in the future, should be a lot of fun. Because imagine if they did that for, like, not just every skill in the game, but imagine they started doing that with, like, the worst ones. Like, obviously that one is for Carpenter, because you're using logs to go and fix a boat. But you know how free that's going to make 500 Carpenter? Like, obviously it won't be worth doing at every level range. But there's a non-zero chance someone out there will try doing 500 Carpenter literally just by killing the boss that gives Carpentry XP. Also because there's almost no bosses to go kill. By the time the first few come in. The one I'm looking forward to the most is the Mines of Bitumen one, though. I like the aspect of combining mining with the other 3 production skills. Or it might just be one boss made of, like, bone, stone, and metal. And at the end, you can kind of choose what part of it you want to loot. Or some kind of similar mechanic like that. Also, RuneScape actually did that pretty nicely with one of the more recent bosses they added. It was basically a fire and ice boss, but both of them have a completely different drop table. but after you kill it, you decide what part of it you loot. And then you get, you know, aspects of that. Because that'd be really nice for a bone, metal, stone-related boss. Where obviously you would just loot what you need the most of the 3 material. Or whichever one you need more XP on, because it might even give you an XP drop or something. That'd be interesting to see how they incorporate it for various things. Because they did mention they want to incorporate multi-skilling to quite a bit of bossing. Which is going to be such a chill way to go and train almost every skill then. Because nearly every boss might be killed, not even necessarily for their drop table, but for their XP rate. Or if you just really don't like doing something. Carpentry! But if you don't like doing a specific skill, you know, you could just fight the boss over and over and over again. And it might not be the best rate for the skill, but, you know, you'd be getting some. It's more than 0 XP. It'd also be a good way to kind of force people who like doing combat only to, like, hey, go train these non-combat skills. Where they could still partake in it and kill and everything, but, you know, they'd be gaining XP towards another thing. And maybe they gain slightly more of a benefit if they had it higher. So it's like, ah, maybe I should go get this thing a little bit higher so it actually helps me a little bit more. Like if the loot drop is based on it or something. Not sure how they would scale that. But if nothing else, the XP would probably scale up that way. Or the higher your level, you might get a little bit of better ratio. Or for some skills, would you save you a lot of money. Like when it comes to production skills. Because getting something like 1% of a skill when you're only level 50 is barely anything. But getting 1% of a skill when you're at like 270, that's huge. Like how much that ends up saving. For a production skill that mostly loses money. Oh yeah, we don't have 7% pots on us again. I keep forgetting that. It's because I don't want to juggle both a 5% and a 7%, just to use the 7% like twice an hour. So I just haven't been right now. Do need to go fix that later. And by fix that later, I mean they need to add a equivalent potion so we don't need to worry about it. There's nothing we can do to fix that. Right, half a level to go. And then off stream, my goal is going to be 315 detective and probably smithing level. More so detective. That'll just be a byproduct of what we do. It's like 1 smithing level, 2 stonemason level probably. Doing stonemason only with knowledge. And then going into tomorrow, I'm not sure what we want to pivot into. Even though we're kind of already pivoting back into the mines, I'm already ready for a hard pivot into another thing already. I guess it comes down to, do we get an update this weekend? I don't think we do though, because they're moving their office and everything. There's a good chance we don't get another update till like Tuesday, Wednesday next week. I just really want that quest already. Also, hopefully they do it before Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out next week. It's going to be really annoying if they do it on the exact same day. Yeah, we'll find out. Hey, that reminds me, I was test driving the new outfit for old school RuneScape as well. For what we've currently been grinding for. On the side, since we finally started doing that again. Because there's a plugin that you can do that lets you dress up in anything in the game. And I wanted to see what the full armor set would look like after the fact. And there it is. The full golden armor with the staff. The staff is held a little bit weird because the program doesn't know how to hold it properly. But, yeah, we have every item there, including the max cape and everything else in the hardcore. I was going to do the hardcore helmet as well, but it doesn't quite fit with it. But I like the aesthetic. The staff will be held a little bit differently once we finally have it. As well will look like once the Castle War grind is finally done. Maybe just with the hardcore helm or something. It just doesn't fit as well, though, color scheme-wise. Flex-wise, it does. It fits really well. For people that know what every item means. But visually, it doesn't quite fit the aesthetic. That one staff is actually a new staff that they added pretty recently. It's a collection log staff. Something I really, really hope Brighter Shores embraces. Because I don't think there's been a single mechanic in that game, in the history of the game, that I've enjoyed more than the collection log mechanic. I think we're as high as rank 15, though, since we haven't played it in like 4 months, basically. We've dropped to like rank 21 or something. But I really like the concept of what it is. Basically, it's a log of every single item, a unique item you've ever gotten. And it applies to both Ironman players and non-Ironman. So it basically gives main accounts that have access to trading a good way of collection, or, you know, collecting things. Because they still have to Ironman in the sense that they have to get the item dropped themselves. They can't just buy it from a player and then get a collection log slot for it. They actually have to earn it from the source. So you're almost playing like a little pseudo Ironman mode while still playing on a main mode. And it's something I really, really hope they add to Brighter Shores. Because I do plan to enable trading. But I still want to completionist everything. And it's probably my favorite piece of completionist content they've ever added, and I wish every game forever has it. Or there's like a whole log of every single boss drop, and if you've gotten it from the source or not. As well as every drop in the game, but it's mostly noteworthy for boss drops. A few other ones too, like mini games and a bunch of skilling activities. And one of my personal favorite, doing clue scrolls. We were talking about that earlier too. I was hoping they would add a global skill for treasure hunter. Literally a treasure hunting skill. Where it like randomly generates a tile in the map and you have to use a bunch of tools to figure out where it is. Maybe a bunch of puzzle boxes and other similar things. I don't know, I just love it so much. Has a nice bit of variety. You get a bunch of random loot while doing something. Like you can get it while doing anything. You'll be killing something, you'll randomly get one. You'll be mining, you'll randomly get one. You'll be fighting a boss, you'll randomly get one. And it's like, oh, a little clue thing to go solve. I don't know, I just really like the mechanic. And at the end, you get a bunch of loot at the end of various kinds. Mostly cosmetic, some of it useful, though. A lot of high-end cosmetics, though. Some of it was best in slot gear, though. Though power creep has kind of made a lot of it not best in slot. It's really a system I hope he does again, but does it as a skill rather than as activity. Like, Dungeoneering was one of those skills back in 2010 or whenever it was. That really should not have been a skill, but was. That luckily Old School RuneScape does not have. But I feel like clue scrolls should have been a skill. Instead of just a side activity. Like, it should have been an actual skill profession that you went and leveled up. Rather than simply an activity you just infinitely do. Just so it has a more general sense of progression. Ooh, he almost has the full silver cape. Which he's about what level I am right now, if that's the cape he has right now. Ooh. I do just say, I do like the appearance that Vorpal did with it earlier. He was wearing the full silver 1000 combat cape. And honestly, it looks really clean with full plate armor. With like the metallic edge on it. We've just been rocking the Core Steam Mines of Bitumen one. Which I do enjoy a lot too. I like the color scheme that it has going on. Like this color scheme right here works so well. And we're not even at tier 6 armor either. It visually upgrades one more time. Currently, I'm using the chainmail one. I'm not using the plate one, though. Honestly, they've both been kind of growing on me. I've always preferred the plate body one a lot more. But the more I wear this, it kind of grows on me. It's like, you know what? It's actually not that bad. Originally, I hated it so much, but the more I wear it, or I'm indirectly forced to wear it in some situations because it's our best in slot, it's like, you know what? It's not that bad. I almost keep forgetting what our visual even is. Honestly, I might need to go change our visual again on this character. Because I feel like, I don't know, we ended up just going with what we ended up like randomly generating. And then kind of just expanding it from there. Because I actually like the design I did for my other two characters more than our main account. Up and down the line, they add more visuals to it, though. I highly doubt they are anytime soon, though. I highly, highly doubt that. That's very low on the priority list. We need more customizability. Well, technically, when Easter comes around, let's see, do we get a transmog for something that isn't the head slot? Because they said it's more than just earning hats. Which means, are we getting slots that are also not hats? Because they said it's going to be a little bit different than just simply getting XP and getting a bunch of drops. It's going to be likely an actual event. We still don't know what the rewards are at all. Obviously, other than something Easter themed. But specifically, we don't know what Easter themed rewards we're going to be getting. Or if it even is plural, it could just be one reward. A giant egg. The new egg weapon with special attack. The first ever special attack in the game. You throw an egg at someone. They've actually done that before, I believe. Where they do a holiday event teasing an upcoming mechanic. Either so free-to-play can know what members have, or just to kind of tease it in general. Like, hey, this is what we're working on. It'll be an actual feature in the game soon. But that'd be really, really funny. If it's like basically a fun weapon. Which fun weapons back in the day were basically weapons that don't actually deal damage or anything. But they're more so, you know, for fun. But it'd be funny if he added a fun weapon that has a special attack on it. That's completely useless and never worth using. But he does it for just the sake to show off that, hey, special attacks are around the corner. You can throw eggs at people. I don't know, I'll have to wait and see. You should know in a couple weeks. At most, we'll have to wait a month. At earliest, it could be in like 2 weeks from now. I don't know, when do games normally start Easter event? I believe Easter is like April 20th this year, somewhere around there. Like the third week of of April. Also, how badly I want to use the 7% pot right now. I'm almost about to like teleport to Hopeport just to go grab one. If only there was a equipable pouch that we could go and grab one from. Someday. For now, we'll just use a 5%. It's not that big a deal. The amount of time it would take to grab a 7% would void any value you would get from the 7%. But it seems like in probably about half a week to a week from now, we should hopefully have 232 Stonemason. As ideally, I want to use almost every knowledge point we have on Stonemason until it's there. I also don't want to do the AFK activity though, which is a weird in-between. Oh no, maybe I just do it. We have to burn a little bit of money. There's just so many AFK activities I need to do right now that don't burn money. That just seem like higher priority. The biggest one right now being alchemy. But also if we get 1/4 of a carpentry level, we'd also be able to do carpentry. Though I'd say alchemy is the higher priority one so we can get back to making potions again. Most notably having access to 238 fear. 238 fear. 238 fears did get nerf buffed a little bit with the changes they made. The potion sells for more now, but the material is also costing slightly more. But I already have 800 of one banked and 300 of the other. So it's not that bad. I'm still going to have to spend a lot to go get them. But they also sell back to the shop for more. So it kind of breaks even or even slightly profits compared to if we did it before. Which actually one weird circumstance in our current situation. Due to the merge and how many I have of both ratio, we are basically going to profit more than we would have before. Even though we're still burning most of our money while making them. I don't believe we are as much due to the sell price actually being better. Even though the buy price was also made more expensive, but we already have a lot of it banked. We already have like 70% of it banked. We just have to buy the other 30%. If it was 50%, I think we would lose money compared to before. But the fact that we have more than 50% of it banked actually makes it so we profit compared to before. So a weird kind of quirk with the update. Even though the prices are pretty comparable, but because both of them went up and we had more than half, we are actually making slightly more profit than we did before. It's the last potion that we gain a benefit on, though. Everything beyond that is awful. That's the last one where the merge helps us. Everything beyond that's downhill from there. It's the final one that didn't get, like, completely butchered afterwards. Yeah, Alchemy's in a weird state now. Particularly for the low-level range. I'm not even sure my ults are going to get it up now. Other than just AFKing King it the whole time or something. Because they really made Alchemy pretty awkward at a low-level range. Because a lot of the main training methods that you would have originally used now burn money. Like, a lot of money. Whereas before, you can get up to, like, 131. Like, you could go from 35 to 131, making only potions that were pure profit. Now, I don't think there's a single potion in the entire game where if you buy everything, you make profit. Every single one of them burns money now. At least until player trading comes out. But right now, every single potion, I'm pretty sure. Actually, we can check it right now. I am pretty sure 100% of every potion is negative money now. They might be different amounts of negative money. But I'm pretty sure every single one is negative. Like, look at these number. The number that we're looking for is, profit. Minus 80, minus 317, minus. Like, some are small minuses, but they're all still minus. Oh, I found one. There is still one you make a profit from. It is the plus 60 Arboret. Oddly enough, of all things. Plus 60 Arboret for Guardians or anything that needs it. Oh, there's another one here too. Okay, it looks like the plus 60s are all slightly positive for all three. That is literally the only exception. Negative. Okay, literally the only exception is plus 60 boost potion, potent boost potion for every class. Or for every color. Everything else is a different number of negative. But yeah, only plus 60 boost potions are profit. Everything else is in the red. Which means the only 3 potions the entirety of Alchemy grind then, at least until trading comes out, that has any amount of profit margin, assuming you buy everything from the shop, is the 62 potion, the 77 potion, and oddly enough, the 89 potion? Because they actually reworked that one quite a bit. So apparently that's actually worth doing now. It wasn't really worth doing before, but now it is. Because I believe that one was actually negative before, but now it's actually positive, oddly enough. Let me double check that's the right one. I mean, that's a rather interesting change. Oh, no, that's not the right potion. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong version of it. Where's the plus 60 version of this? Never mind, plus 60 is still negative. Wait, what was the third positive then? There's 3. What was the third one then? Because never mind, the yellow one's still negative. Or maybe I'm going crazy, maybe it was only 2. Never mind, it's only the blue and green plus 60. Yellow's still negative. Oh, here it is. I don't know, I was looking at this negative and think it was positive, never mind. Yeah, it was only 2. Yeah, Fossil Armed is only 2. It's the blue and green plus 60 potion. Everything else is in the red. Either partially or exceedingly so. Oh, so that's basically the AFK method for that room, by the way. You take 8, then 8, then 8, and then you bank. Should you be doing that? Probably not. But it's definitely more chill if you're multitasking something. 8, 8, 8, Flatinium, then bank. And you could do the same with pretty much all of them. Or you go triple 8 and then bank them. At least for the ores. Iron ore being the best one to do it for. Cabernet being by far the worst because the room only has 7 in it. And is way too far from a bank to do it that way. Iron works the best, Flatinium works the second best. Adithero kind of works. But it's a little bit more click intensive. And Cabernet just doesn't work on. It's too far from a bank and there's only 7 instead of 8 in the room. It's the only one of the 10 spawns that split up 7-3 rather than 8-2. So I really hope they do something with Obelisk soon. It feels so weird seeing an Obelisk room over here and being like, oh yeah, what's this for again? There's like no point to it. Anything that Obelisk can do in that room at the current moment in time is upgrade this pickaxe, which I don't need any further upgrade, it's too expensive. Or upgrade our gold pen that we're never going to use, other than for first time bonus. Alright, 4 for a level to go. We'll make that the final mine level. We'll go 4 for today. And then our main focus will be Detective 315 and getting these 2 up. This one with knowledge, this one with processing these. But yeah, I'm still not sure what our main AFK is going to be for when we do it next week. Because after doing the math on how much we have to do for mining, we're not going to be able to do that much mining until then. Even if we do 40 hours of mining, it would not be enough time. Even if we did 50 hours, I think it would still be a bit short. So at this point, honestly, I'm actually considering raid dens. I keep mentioning how bad they are, but honestly, I haven't actually given them a chance. So I'm really feeling that raid den pivot. Just to really experience how bad they are. In all fairness, you don't have to do it for that many levels. We actually only have to do it for about 50 levels all the way to max at this point. Because you would have to do it from 344 to 373. And then from 451 to 470 down the line. So this would be the last like really big gap that you'd have to do it for. It's only 29 levels. I just realized it's double 29. I gotta do investigation for 29 and then raid den for 29, oddly enough. Also, it's still amazing with this much tool upgrade. How much it feels like this tool does nothing. At least relative to a 25 tool. Like, you would think with all that extra money it'd be a lot better, but it's only 2% better. It's amazing how much the upgrades fall off after 25. Like, using a level 10 tool compared to a 25 tool, you really feel the difference. But using like a 25 to 35 or a 25 to probably 40-ish, there's such a small difference between them that you can barely even feel it. Like, it is better, but it doesn't feel better, even though it is. Just because the percent is so small. Because in the case of this upgrade, going 10 extra levels and spending, what, 30, 40 extra gold? I think it was like 30 something, like 28-ish. It's only 2% bonus on top of the 30% we already had. That is not a lot. Going from 30 to 32%. Like, it's more than nothing, of course, but it's not that big of an impact. That's why it's hard to notice. What's kind of crazy, too, is I think the mining leaderboard is already completely filled. All the people who did the 500 mining grind. Yep, there's already over 20 people who have done 500 mining already. That is some dedication to the craft. I don't know, I still feel somewhat adverse to 500 still. Every time I'm like, yeah, we're gonna finally get around to a 500 grind, and it's like, should we? Should we? My biggest concern with it is you stop gaining XP after 500. There are obviously some skills where you'd still want to keep doing it even at that point. It just feels really weird that Number Go Up Simulator just has a stop to it. Like, I'm fine with there being a level where you get no more unlocks afterwards. What I don't like is that your XP just stops at basically the same point you stop getting upgrades. Because you finally get, like, your final activity, and then you get to do it for, like, 1 day. Maybe 2 days tops. And then after that, it's like, oh, I'm done with the skill now. Even though I just now reached the final activity. Like, you spend, like, 3% of your time with the skill doing the final activity, maybe 5% or something. And then it's like, oh yeah, it's not worth doing this ever again now. At least from an XP perspective. The material, or whatever the byproduct is from it, is probably still good. But you're going down from getting millions of XP per hour down to 0 XP per hour. It's also kind of crazy to think about with some of the high-level XP ranges. Like our current detective level at 311, we're getting over 1 million XP an hour. It's actually insanely high. Our summer's around there. With some of like the end XP rates for some of the skills, like they're almost a double-digit million. Maybe not that high for some, but they're all in the millions, like the XP rate per hour. Because the number that you need by the end sounds really intimidating. I forget what it is off the top of my head. It's something really big. But then you realize by that point you're getting multiple millions per hour, and then it's like, it's not that bad, actually. Like, if your best XP rate was like 100k going up to that point, it'd be like, oh yeah, that's horrifically bad. By the time you're even halfway there, you're already getting over 1 million per hour. Oh, you can hear the water. I never noticed that. You can actually hear the waterfall. Luckily, it's not a deafening waterfall. I feel like some games, for whatever reason, the audio bounce on their waterfalls are just like the loudest thing you've ever heard. Like you get right on top of it and you almost need to like turn the audio completely off. Just because of how loud the waterfall is. Some games have really bad audio mixing on it. If anything, I would almost say this one's too quiet. It's like the opposite issue. It's like so subtle. Yeah, we did the math on smithing earlier. I did the math wrong initially. But if we were to buy these Platinums, we would be burning 58% of our cash stack. Roughly. Give or take a few percent. That's a lot of burn rate on it. Which is why we're mining them. We were trying to break out down the math for what the cost or profit was for it. Or more so cost, because obviously it was going to be negative. And we have gotten to the conclusion that it was around a 58% burn rate. So whatever money you put into like buying this Platinum at tier 5, you would lose 58% of your money you put in. Unless you get really lucky. Or if player trading is out and you get more for the 3-star. Because that does assume selling every 3-star for quartermaster price. Once trading is out, you'd be able to sell it for way more than that. Oh, maybe not way more, but you know, definitely more. You definitely wouldn't sell it for less, that's for sure. Otherwise, you could just sell it to the quartermaster. Because the ones we were making were 233 silver. But honestly, with player trading, you'd easily get half a gold for that. Like double that price. At most, you could probably even get a full gold for it, depending on what it is or if it has a good roll. Like it's like an elemental weapon with like max roll or near max roll. Which I feel like a lot of people are going to end up crafting down the line. Right now, we just craft whatever gets the better XP rate. But down the line, you're probably going to craft whatever has the elemental roll. Just because of how much better a perfect one will sell for, since it's only a 1 in 20 chance. So the demand for a perfect one or a near perfect one would be a lot higher. Especially at the higher level ranges. Like around 2,000, 2,500 range. The only problem is so few people can use it right now. That's honestly going to be the biggest issue with trading right at the beginning of it. Is there's going to be a lot of resources in the game that almost no one in the game can use, but people have. Like people who do like 500 woodcutting, 500 mining, 500 carpenter, stuff like that. Material that is very useful and will be used for best in slot gear down the line. But almost no one in the entire game can wield that best in slot gear. As until Stonewall Hill comes out, literally 0 people have 2,500 combat. Like, absolutely 0. And even if I take 2,000 right now, there's only 2 people, soon to be 3. And by soon is a very... I'm not sure if soon's the right term. Because they are 323 levels away. Which is basically the equivalence of if you just got a skill to 200. That'd be like saying that you're close to 500 by the time you have a 200 skill. That's basically how far away they are right now from getting 2,000 combat. It's basically the difference from a 200 to 500 grind. Where am I going? Wrong way. Let's see, what does the XP tracker say? I really wish it would still show you your total XP. That's still bothering me that you can't ever since the update. Something that I have to go to change later. It's not going to permanently stay like that. I would sure hope not. Like, you can still check it on the wiki, but I'm not going to go to the wiki every time I want to know what my total XP is. We did once to calculate something earlier to stream, but I'm not going to do it every time we ever want to know. That would get way too tedious. Oh gosh, this chair. I need to go get like a mat. Ever since this wooden floor, if I move even slightly, the chair just goes flying. Like every time I want to like reposition, chair moves like halfway across the room. It looks like about 4 more inventories then. I still wish mining these was more intuitive. The way that it's set up is still so weird. It's the only part of mining that I find to be really awkward. The Cavernous and Flatnium area. Relative to where any even remotely close bank is. It's one of the reasons why we waited until Flatnium to even start doing most of the Cavernous grind. Is doing solo Cavernous is just a billion miles from any bank. The closest one is either there or teleport over there and go there. Which is actually quicker to teleport method. At least until they add a bridge over here or something. Yeah, we should have about 1,000 this ore now. And based on the math we did earlier, actually, how much did we verdict is the profit per? Because we did the cost per. What's the profit per again? Per ore. Let's see if I can find a number. Was that it? Gosh, I got too many numbers here, and I can't remember what half these were. Oh, no, it was the 6.6. Every single one of these ores, when fully processed, on average, is worth 6.6. Assuming a 2-star is around a 1 in 10 chance, and a 3-star is about a 1 in 30-ish. Each one of these is worth about 6.6. That was the final number we got to earlier. Technically 6.635. And of course that's silver. But the main reason we bank them is not because they're worth 6.6, but because of how much they save otherwise. Like a 6.6 profit doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to buying it, it's minus 5 point something. Like 5.5 or somewhere around there. So in total, it's closer to almost a plus 12 compared to buying it. As far as the amount of negative compared to the positive of how much we get for this. Which that way makes it seem a lot more worth it. Because compared to buying it, each one of these is worth about 12 silver. If you're just counting the byproduct of what you're getting, it's about 6.6. But when you compare it to the alternative, it's much better. Even though banking is for 6.6 is actually not that good. It's just the XP that you get from it that's really, really good. And there'd be no other alternative other than buying. And that's another thing when it comes to the player market as well. Like, the lowest of lowest of lowest you could ever sell this for is like 7 silver each. Realistically, it's probably going to be almost double that. But the absolute lowest of the low is 7. Because at that point, if you're selling it any lower than that, you might as well just process it yourself. Because you're pretty much getting the same value from it. And you're getting all the XP along the way. I assume most prices will be more than whatever their shop is, though. Loopy! Welcome, welcome, all's been well. I was trying to get one last mining level, then probably grabbing dinner. Been doing a bunch of math and figuring things out this stream for a couple things. Also, we've done a little bit of everything to stream. On the grind we didn't touch that we need to do in the near future, that we didn't touch the stream, is the Gather one, but that could be done all in one stream when we do it. I'm still not sure what my next pivot is, though. If we don't get an update tomorrow... honestly, I'm considering the detective pivot. I want to check something. No, I already checked earlier. Never mind, it's not on the wiki. I was going to say, I wonder what the profit per hour of my current investigation is going to be. But I forgot, the wiki not only does not have the XP rate, but it also does not have the gold rate. Last I checked. It doesn't have the anything rate. Well, we'll find out tomorrow. Because honestly, I'm really considering for next week the raid den grind. I just don't think I'll be able to mine enough ore by then. Because we got to do like 40, 50 hours of mining by then. I'm not sure if we're going to do that much. We're going to do a decent amount, but I don't think we're doing 40, 50 hours amount. And the biggest issue with Chef is mostly just the awkwardness of how long we'd have to do nothing but buying without multi-skilling it at all. We'd have to spend about 5 to 6 hours literally just buying stuff from the shop. Over and over and over and over again to bank what we need for it. Like, bare minimum 5 hours of 0 XP. Just getting supplies. So is this the inventory? We get the level? Oh, apparently. Nice. Alright, I can grab the potion then. Perfect. Yeah, how's our chef bounties? Probably go pick them up. Yeah, they already reset this hour. Good. Oh yeah, tomorrow we finally get to do the oyster venture for the first time. We've been setting this up for like a week now, on and off. But we finally get to complete it tomorrow. All of our progress to finally go do it. We've been poking at it for so long. Honestly, same as this mining grind. It feels so nice to finally be at Flatinium. Because we've been locked out of mining for like 2.5 months pretty much. I finally got access to it again. So whenever we want to train it, it's like, yep, let's go do some mining now. But yeah, unless there's an update or something that pivots me, I am really considering the detective pivot. Just to try the post-nerf raid dens. I want to see how bad they really are, because I haven't really given them a fair chance since they've been nerfed into the ground. Oh yeah, let me go bank these still. Because my brain's thinking, like, where's the closest bank? And it's like, you know what, let me just go to this bank. It's not that far away. It's close enough. Then we'll go get our chef bounties and then have them AFK alchemy a little. I'm still not sure what my main AFK is going to be tonight. The issue is there's so many things we need to do and I don't know what I want to prioritize. Mostly because I'm not sure what they're going to be doing in the near future. Like, are we going to have a cool potion in the next week? Is some kind of big absurd feature going to be coming with the first quest that changes every plan we ever have? Like, I need them to do more updates so I can figure out what I need to prep for. Because right now so many things are up in the air where it's like, okay, what should I be prepping for right now? Because honestly, our weapons are kind of good for a while. Like, I would have to do hundreds of hours of combat before I would not have a 4-star spec weapon. Like, we do so much combat before we need it again. So why do I keep buying this? I need to start buying stock. That's the next thing I actually need. Not sure why I keep buying lemon juice. I guess we still need that other object for a while, but nowhere's near as long as we're going to be needing the next one. Alright, let's see what we get here. Anything good? North Wall for 1, sure. Sentry for sure. Everything else, not really. Oh no, Ella for 8. I hate having to get more of those. It's like the most annoying one for us to get more of right now. Alright, this is why we're out and about. Let me go grab these 2 real quick, I guess. 1 of these, 6 of these, just to kind of clear it out for later so we can have a good sentry run. That should be everything. Get a North Wall, get the other thing. Honestly, if that other item was easier to do, I would probably do it. I'm just really low on bass right now. So low, I had to go fish in inventory this morning. The main reason I'm trying not to overkill it, though, is at level 208, we never need it again. So I'm trying not to overshoot it. But we're still a little ways from 208. Unless we go power grind it soon. You know, maybe that would be our in-between grind. Maybe that's what we do soon. Maybe even tomorrow. Do the 208 chef grind. The reason why that's relevant is not just to get rid of this bass and never need it again. So we can finally drop the bass of the drop the bass. But not only can we drop the bass, but we would also be able to go and get better XP rate. The way that contracts work is they're based on the highest dish you can currently do. And they scale based on that. Also, I just went the wrong way. I'm gonna have to backtrack. Whoops. I did this like the worst way possible. Mistakes have been made. Oh, I didn't get by it either. But all these start giving more XP at 208. So you know what? Maybe that's our pivot tomorrow if there's not a new quest or something. I go get 208 chef. I'll probably still do some detective as well. But I think that's the angle then. 208 chef so we can start getting better bounties. The only slight issue with that is the dish we have to start doing is really annoying. Because it requires 2 things I don't have. One requires 235 fishing, which we don't have. And the other requires a tier 4 potato that I banked literally 0 of. I think I have like 16 total. I banked like half an inventory one time. Alright, is anyone going to save us? I highly doubt it. Come on, someone attack him, someone attack him, someone attack him. No, they're all busy. No! But anyways, guys, any other questions? Any other things? Otherwise, I think we'll be calling it here for now. Tomorrow's plan, honestly, yeah, I think that is the plan then. 208 Chef, and probably, if we haven't already finished it, 215 Detective. If we're not getting like a new quest or anything tomorrow, I think that's our plan. 208 Chef and 215 Detective. The next 2 milestones for both. That allows us to actively do investigations, finally. And we'll probably even do some of them next stream. And 208 Chef allows our contracts to be better. It actually allows them to start being post 200, though I don't think it jumps like crazy at that range. It's not one of those activities that gets like absurdly better after 200. While it will jump, it's not going to jump by like 4 times or 5 times or something. I wish it did. But it's not that kind of jump. It is going to be better than it is now, but it's not going to be like a 4 point something times jump. It's going to be more like a 10% jump or something, or 15% jump. Probably like 10-ish%. But it's still worth it for mostly trying to get it up through contracts and everything. But anyways, guys, and of course we'll do Leak Pie to go do that. And do the triple drop Leak Pie method. Which I think Miles ES was doing earlier. I saw them kind of doing something that seemed like that, so I assumed that's what they were doing. We did some on stream earlier too. It's basically you do 8 Leak Pies at a time. You drop them. You then drink your potion. You then pick up all 24. Then your potion works for all 24 of them. Basically allows you to use 1 potion on all 24. Which is the whole reason why you do it. And we could even 10% it if we want to. I'm probably going to use 5% though. But if we really wanted to expedite it, we could use 10% every time. We'll see. But anyways, guys, hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. We will be back tomorrow around the same time as always, noon Eastern Standard Time. Fingers crossed we finally get an update. Maybe at some point. Highly doubt it, though, because they're currently moving to a different office. They're almost doubling their team. I think they mentioned they won't be fully oriented probably till next Monday. So probably Tuesday at the earliest. They're actually going to do a patch, but oh well, we'll just keep grinding stuff until then. We'll just keep wide grinding until it becomes more evident what we need to go power grind after whatever updates they end up ultimately doing down the line. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoy your week, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for stopping by as always. Greatly, greatly appreciated, and goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching.